Well, there's a tear in one or two Romanian eyes. A big moment for them and for their country going in against the number one side in the world, led by the returning Johnny Sexton. This promises to be an outstanding game of rugby. Conditions, well, probably not quite perfect, because I don't remember too many Irish fellas relishing Tony playing in over 30 degrees.
No, that's going to be a big battle for them today. It's it's a huge game for the Romanians. It's one of the faults in the system in World Rugby that Tier 2 countries really don't get the opportunity to play against the top teams other than in World Cups and the very occasional friendly, in inverted commas. So for the Romanians, it's absolutely massive. Mind you, as I heard Sexton say overnight, it's the same for both teams.
It was nice to see not that long ago the IRFU awarding almost posthumous caps, not because somebody had passed away, but caps which should have been given at the time when the sides that were played against by Ireland weren't recognised in terms of being cap worthy. People like John Birch, Brian O'Driscoll's dad Frank, who played with John Birch against Argentina way back in 1970, in the days when Sid Miller was still playing before he went into grace. That was a nice gesture.
I think so, and even players who have passed away, I think they'll be receiving them well, and that is as it should be, Jim. I mean, when you look at the modern game and how easy it is now to get caps, and so many are given away, particularly in the last 5 minutes of games, they're so cheap. And what those caps mean to players who never really had the opportunity, and when they did get it, there was no cap awarded. So absolutely 100% behind that decision.
Well, it's going to be Ireland to get this game underway, playing from left to right in their traditional green. Romania have changed into white shirts with black shorts, and their skipper, the number 8 Christian Chirica, is indicating to a referee, and it's a big day for him, for Nika Amashukeli, the 28-year-old from Georgia, who's the first Georgian official to referee at a Rugby World Cup, and he becomes the second youngest man to do so, just behind the man who's helping him today, Wayne Barnes, on the touchline from England, and along with Andrea Piardi, they are the touch judges, or assistant referees in New Money, and the TMO is from New Zealand, and he's the vastly experienced Brendan Pickerel. So it's Johnny Sexton back after 9 months for all sorts of reasons to get us underway in Bordeaux. And Sexton, a little short stabbing kick into the arms of Romania's fullback Simianescu, and he puts it into touch and rather tamely given away. So not a terribly clever kick tactically, but Ireland will be happy enough to get the chance of the first line out. In fact, it was the outside half, Hinckley Vauvasa, New Zealand-born Romanian.
And Sexton acknowledged it too, Jim. He held his hand up to the rest of the team. That was a poor kick-off.
Oh, pinched by Romania, and Rob Herring, who didn't quite get the throw right, came barreling through. Referees keeping the whistle down. Romania have the ball just inside their own 10-metre line, near side of the field, popped up by scrum half Rapanu. Ireland have forced them back a little bit, back to outside half. Albosa once again, and he kicks left-footed all the way down to Ireland's 22. A little bit of a mix-up almost between Keith Earls and his fullback Hugo Keenan, who kicks left-footed, gathered in nicely by Romania near side of the field. A little bit of table tennis going on here. Back now to Ireland once again, and again as Keenan right-footed down the near touchline, Ireland's right. Now Romania sweep it inside with Nicolas Onutu, and that's chipped forward into Irish territory, well covered. Bounces once, gathered in by James Lowe, plenty of time, steadies himself onto that trusty left foot of his, and he's put it long and not into touch. Gathered once again, and again it's Romania countering. So a lot of tactical kicking going on here. Gathered once again by Lowe up to his 22 under the left foot, keeps it low this time, and again not finding touch. Gathered in by Romania. Big high kick into the Irish midfield, who's underneath it. Well taken by Ireland yet again. Well done by Keenan. Gibson Park now nicely away by Ireland. Little stop and charge and move forward there, taken by Gary Ringrose. Here comes Sexton, little dink through, not just quite enough on it for Keith Wirls on the right wing, and Romania have gathered the ball, and this could be dangerous for Ireland, and Romania going forward, and Romania are going to score, and at scrum half Gabriel Rupanu gets in from a missed kick by Johnny Sexton. Well gathered, well finished off. Well,
You know, you dream up dream starts and you have nightmare starts, and this is a nightmare start. You compare that with how New Zealand started. They lost in the end last night with that magnificent try, and Romania have just done the same. I just worry about one thing. There was a lot of aimless kicking there, and, you know, if not quite aimless, certainly unproductive kicking on both sides. And it certainly brought Romania into the game. But this is a poor miss by Ireland. Counter-attacking try, well taken by the Romanians in fairness. And... well, nightmare start, as I say.
It was a bad kick by Sexton and a pretty bad follow-up by Keith Earls, who never really challenged the man. He saw the man going to get the ball, but yet didn't appear to be able to challenge him.
No, and we're talking about basics there. Most disappointing.
And the man who touched it down, Gabriel Rapanu, who's 25 years of age, plays in Romania, his club rugby for Timisoara. And, oh, he's missed it. No. Well, I have to say, I think I could have got that one, Tony, and you certainly would have got that one with your eyes closed. So that was a bit of a setback. I think he was probably so excited about scoring his first ever World Cup try.
I agree. That's a let-off. Ireland should actually be 7 down. Well taken try, watching it again, but a let-off with the conversion.
Well, the Romania supporters cannot believe what has happened here. We have played almost 4 minutes, and Ireland, the number one side in the world, are points down, and here come Romania on the charge again. McCarthy puts in a tackle just outside the Irish 22, the near side of the field, the Irish right. Big Romanian centre Jason Tomani, one of a number of overseas players in the entire Romanian backline, goes to ground inside his 22. Rapanu, the try scorer, gets it back. Right-footed kick down the line, taken in by Ireland inside their 10-metre line, whipped in field by Hugo Keenan. And Keenan on the counter yet again, gets up to halfway. Gibson Park scoops their way. It's a bit lethargic by Ireland. Now they're driving forward. Tag Furlong helps to set it up here. Sexton, nice little pass, and away goes Aki. Aki gets it away. This is good stuff by Ireland on the counter, and it's for one scrum half scores, and another scrum half scores, and as Gibson Park gets in, and that's brought Ireland back, and that's more like it.
Yeah, the perfect retort, and under the post, Sexton's going to convert this. I have to say, Sexton's passing there, that's what he brings to this team for me more than anything. It's his appreciation of space and support players, and it's the timing and of that pass. Look at that, absolutely perfect to Bundy Aki, supporting on both sides, and in the end it's Gibson Park who goes in under the post for a beautifully created try. The perfect retort.
Yeah, lovely soft little pass by Sexton to Bundy Aki, who used that huge strength of his and a fend off on a Romanian prop forward, and he slipped it away to his co-centre Gary Ringrose, and Ringrose, nice footballer that he is, drew the opposition and put Gibson Park in, and it was a score at a canter. Sunday afternoon, out for tea and buns time. Now, Sexton's first kick since the Grand Slam game against England way back in March. 6 months since he's been in anything resembling a competitive situation, and he doesn't make any mistakes. So Ireland have taken the lead, and you sort of feel that the proper order has been restored, but it was a bit shaky, Tony.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to say, again, I come back to the point about Sexton. You know, as you rightly say, it's the first kick he's taken for Ireland since that Grand Slam decider back in March. But he'd be very aware of that. So he would have been delighted that that kick was close to the post. No matter how often he practices and how many he kicks from wide out, that is vital for his own confidence on this day when it matters most in the World Cup.
Ireland 7, Romania 5. Restart by the Romanian outside half, gathered in by Bundy Aki inside his 22, the far side of the field, the Irish left. He drops the shoulder, drives forward. Plenty of men in green shirts round him. One of them, Andrew Porter, nicely away by McCarthy. That's nicely done by Ireland. Well, I was going to say it's nicely done by Ireland, but it wasn't really. Keith Earls on the near side trying to fend off his opposite number, Nicholas Onutu, and he gets the ball back in field, and Ireland won the ball just outside their 22. Wonderful first up tackling, but McCarthy's strong enough to ride it and gets it away, and James Lowe forced into kicking left-footed down the near side of the field. The Romanian left gathered in on halfway by Romania. Little chip high up into the air for the men in white to chase, and underneath it is James Lowe, took it magnificently, and away he goes and decides to kick, and saw a little bit of a space in the near side, and has it drifted straight into touch. think it might have, and that's going to be a Romanian line out. So another little fundamental error by Ireland. You don't expect James Lowe to make that kind of a mistake.
To be fair to him, he was under pressure there. It was he who defused the bomb in the first place, and he was almost tackled because, as you rightly say, when Lowe has time, that left peg of his is, it's irreplaceable.
Booker Kojaro to throw, well taken at the front by Ireland, stolen there, and it was just knocked forward in the line out as Ireland tried to pinch the ball at the front. And rather upset looking James Ryan there thought he'd done enough to get it back, but the referee is going to give the first scrum of the afternoon, and what an afternoon it is. 30 degrees plus. They will start sweating bullets here, and there's one or two of the Romanian front rows looking a little bit uncomfortable, and they should be slightly more used to it than the Irish boys. Nice to see Nika Amashu Kelly refereeing at this level. I've watched him do a lot of games in Europe, and he's been very good, Tony.
No, he's one of the up-and-coming referees, and established now, obviously, but he's a goodie.
Crouch!
28, wouldn't you have to be 28 again?
You said it.
Free kick against Ireland for a little bit of early shoving. Andrew Porter being told that he shoved far too early, so Romania, I don't think they'll want to kick it into touch because they'll be giving possession away, and they're going to go for another scrum with the ball in hands. The man who got the try, Gabriel Rupanu, the 25-year-old, played 25 times for Georgia. They haven't had a great run of form. Lost 4 of their 5 games, including all their warm-up games, and came here off a real thumping by a rampant Italian side who've had a good win over Namibia by 52 points to 8 if you're just joining us. And of course last night the biggie at Stade de France, France 27, the New Zealand All Blacks 3 times winners 23. The host setting down a serious marker into a solid looking Romanian scrum. Pick up at the back by number 8 Sharika, gets up to the 22, pops it up to centre Jason Tomani, who gets over the 22. Here come the Romanians again. This is good stuff by the men in white. Good tackling by Ireland and by Tadhg Byrne playing on the flank today. No Josh van der Fleer, who's on the bench, back in the Romanian side, a little bit scrappy. Now they pick it up and they go forward, and again it's McCarthy assisted by Porter doing a bit of decent tackling, but the Romanians managed to just squeeze the ball back. They're inside Ireland's 22 by 4 or 5 metres. Now they bring it to the near side of the field. Tight head prop, Gordas gets it away, sets it up quite nicely. In goes Rupanu, and the Romanians not releasing the ball in the tackle, and Ireland get their first penalty, and it'll be down the line and into touch.
Yeah, we're almost 10 minutes in, and while they're 2 points behind, I think if you were the remaining coaching staff, you'd be very happy with the way the start of this game has gone. I mean, they look productive, they look positive, they look as if they know what they're about. Early days yet, but they've started well.
Well, Johnny Sexton hasn't put in exactly the longest clearing kick in the world, but he's put it into touch, because it was a full penalty. Ireland will get the line out just outside their 10-metre line, the near side of the field, the Irish right. Good bit of defending there by Ireland's vastly experienced wing three-quarter Keith Earls, now with 100 caps to his name. Ireland win the line out. Sexton gets it away. Aki has a go himself. He's taken off at the ankles, which is how to bring a big man like that down. Ireland move it wide. That's nicely done. Here comes James Lowe, steps back in field, still driving forward, evades the tackle of Tanguy Mana. Nicely away by Rob Herring. Aki once again goes to ground, well set up. Here comes Sexton. This is good stuff by Ireland. Well away to Andrew Porter. Gets up and across the 10-metre line of Romania. Getting ever closer. Near side of the field. Back inside.
Play on backwards.
Ball went backward from the pass from Johnny Sexton to Rob Herring. He couldn't quite hold her. Ireland, well, the ball is all over the place. It's like a juggler's convention out there. And away goes Andrew Porter, who's driven forward and does well. Turb Furlong's in with him as well. Ireland pick it up now. They move it wide. Decent chance here. Here comes Aki with James Lowe outside him. Aki decides to bullock on himself and goes to ground. Well brought down by the Romanian number 8 and skipper. Now Gibson Park brings it to the open side of the field. Little pop-up pass once again. It's Ireland driving forward, and again it's Tadhg Furlong. Now it's Sexton. This is better stuff from Ireland. This is good from Ireland. That's lovely stuff by Tadhg Byrne, who comes back in field. Ireland 15 metres away from the Romanian line. Open side of the field now from Gibson Park. Little pop pass. Here go Ireland, and it's going to be another try. And as Hugo Keenan spirals round and dives and touches down, and that was a lovely piece of continuity by Ireland.
Continuity is the word. That's a mesmerising try. I mean, that was about 90 seconds to 2 minutes of total ball handling and variety in the passes. It all started with a long miss-out pass from Gary Ringrose out to James Lowe on the wing, and you contrast that with the short pass that put Bundyaki into space for the first try. And that's what this Ireland team have. They've so many ways of opening defences. That's a brilliant try, and in the end, Hugo Keenan going in under the post.
Backs and forwards, biggest man on the Irish side, offloaded quite beautifully, James Ryan.
Yeah, the interplay between backs and forwards, and that for me is what Farrell and his coaching staff is all about, and why we've moved on from the Joe Schmidt era, which brought discipline and the right results in many ways. But I just love the way this Irish team play when they're at their very best.
Johnny Sexton, straightforward, adds the extra points for the conversion. So Ireland have doubled their lead. We have played around 14 minutes, and Ireland are leading by 14 points to 5, deservedly so.
Absolutely, and we just saw a snatch back there, and in the middle of it all, Josh van der Fleer doing a Sexton with lovely, soft, controlled hands, putting one of his fellow backs into space, and that's the name of the game. Beautiful to watch.
I watched that game last night between France and New Zealand. Strange to see Joe Schmidt, where he probably should be with his New Zealand teammates, watching on. He thought, my goodness, what's happened in the last 4 years? Joe Smith was the new messiah for such a long time, quite rightly too.
Absolutely, he would have been very disappointed last night. New Zealand came a poor second, in my opinion. France deserved to win that game, but look, a different game. Ireland have responded the way we hoped they would, the way we expected they would, and let's see if they can kick on from here.
Well, Ireland have got Tonga on next Saturday evening, followed then by South Africa, and then the gap of a fortnight, and then Scotland, which could be a huge game in the context of qualification and knockouts and one thing and another. In the meantime, Romania have won the line out away over on the far side of the field on the Irish 10-metre line. The Romanian right, playing from right to left, and they're driving forward and have done well. Ball has gone to ground, it would seem, and the referee has given the put into the scrum to Ireland. So good defence. The referee, Nika Amashu Kelly, saying it was unplayable, and if it was unplayable, then the ball goes to the side that didn't start the possession.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, Jim. You've got to do it right on both sides of the ball. And yes, we're attacking very well with 2 converted tries in the first 10, 14, 15 minutes. But defensively, we're very solid there as well. And that's where the real graft goes in, on that side of the ball, and where the defensive coaching comes into play, obviously.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not Ireland decide to run it from their 22. They've got the scrum 2 or 3 metres inside their 22, the far side of the field, the Irish left, and just 5 metres in from the far touchline, where the mightily talented Mr. Wayne Barnes, who wasn't a bad player in his day, but an even better man with a whistle, is perched or poised, either or. Good Ireland scrum. Furlong goes down on his knees, and the referee has given a penalty against Romania.
Right, going back and collapsing under pressure.
They were going back under pressure, and then they collapsed on the far side, I think, and maybe Andrew Porter's side.
Yeah.
So the man was penalised, was the tight head Alexandru Gordas. Fairly big, hefty Romanian side, as they always are. And one thing they can do is they can scrummage, not as well as the Georgians perhaps, but they can scrummage a bit.
Yeah, a lot of them are playing around the world in lesser leagues. They're not in the top, the top divisions, but they are playing a very decent brand of professional rugby. And of course, Jim, back in the day, a lot of the players who played, they worked in the army and the police force, and they were as close to professionalism as you could have got back then. And that's why they were so good. Yeah,
there are 2 clubs like the football clubs were Stoia Bucharest and Dinamo Bucharest, and one was the army and one was the police.
Bang on.
And you didn't want to fall out with either of them. James Lowe puts a clever little chip kick in down this near wing, and it's been gathered in by Ireland, and they're very close indeed. They're 2 or 3 metres down. In goes Keith Earls trying to help for Jemison Gibson Park to get it back. He does get it back. Sexton back inside to his open side. Peter O'Mahony, we're used to seeing him wearing 6, but he's wearing 7 today. Sexton moves it wide. Great chance for Ireland. Now here comes James Lowe, and he does move it wide, and there's a chance for Tadhg Byrne, and Tadhg Byrne is in the corner, and that's the 2nd try for Ireland, and that was perfect.
It is a little bit naivety in the end on the part of the Romanians, but well taken. And even the way Tadhg Byrne went in for the try as well, they cover every corner, and literally in the corner when he went over, but he grounds the ball with his left hand, his right hand free to push off any would-be tacklers. Ireland really giving it space, spreading it wide. Keith Earls almost getting through. And in the end, when they stretch it wide, they use that space to the maximum. And as you can see, the Romanians have been brought in very, very close together. Berg goes in at the corner. Well taken.
Ireland's wide passing, I mean, they're making the ball do the work. That was the old adage that I was always grown up with at school. Make the ball do the work, and that's just what they're doing.
No, me too. But there's the variety in the game. As I said, if they need to give that short pass, that disguise pass, that, nicely weighted pass, that can be done too. It's the variety that keeps the opposition defence guessing. And it was too much for Romania there.
Johnny Sexton squinting into the sunlight. It's a pretty difficult kick for him. It's right out on the far touchline, the Ireland left. No angle whatsoever. Sexton, as he brought it in, not quite. So 3 tries to 1. Ireland with just almost a quarter of this game gone, leading by 19 points to 5.
And deservedly so. That's a reflection on the play since Romania went in for that early try that set us back a little bit. I know Sexton will be disappointed. His standards are very, very high, and when he misses kicks like that, they really get to him. But he's getting there.
Yeah, closing down on all sorts of records, Johnny Sexton. We're not worried about them for the time being, but a third try for Ireland after what was nothing less than a seismic shock to start with. Ball has bounced once and then goes into touch. Or has it gone on straight into touch? No, it's bounced and gone into touch, so it's going to be a line out to Ireland for Rob Herring to throw in. Ronan Kelleher on the bench. Still no word of Dan Sheehan. Would you be worried about Dan Sheehan, Tony?
No, I think again that word precautionary at this stage. And it's great to see Herring out there. I mean, the 3 smashing hookers. That said, Sheehan at this point in time has to be one of the best in the world, the way he plays the game.
Yeah, well, Rob Herring threw that one squint a little bit. Eugen Apchuk, the Romanian head coach, looking on, wondering what he can do to help his side. But they've decided to not to take the scrum. They've decided to go for their own line out, which is very interesting. Normally when you're given the option, you do take the scrum. So this line leaves a little bit to chance, but it comes back on the Romanian side. Good pick up and drive, and they get up to the Irish 22. Rapanu gets it back in field again, where he's got a couple of big heavy fellas, including Jason Tomani is in there as well. Rapanu to the near side. This loose head prop, Julian Hartig. Ireland have got themselves offside, and this will give Romania a chance for 3 points. Will they take the 3, Tony? Or should they take the 3?
Yes, absolutely. They want to get anything they can onto the board at this point in the game, and they know that. I'd be surprised if they don't, but let's see what decision they make.
Well, they said it was Ireland was offside. I think it might have been Johnny Sexton, and could well have been Bundyaki as well. Wonderful piece of ripping there by Johnny Sexton. Took it away from a big Romanian forward. Bundyaki shakes the head as if to say, it wasn't me. And of course, we remember Bundyaki got himself sent off 4 years ago in the game against Samoa, which didn't do Ireland's cause any good whatsoever. And then they lost to Japan and were demolished. It was an awful World Cup, wasn't it? Which promised so much.
And that's where hopefully he's learned his lessons along the way, because it's one failing in his game, as we've seen in recent times. Penalty to Romania.
Ooh, we curled that back in just about and no more. So that's 3 more points to the Romanians. And Ireland leading by 19 points to 8. And we're going to have a water break. Sum it up so far, Tony.
Yeah, I think that's essential in these games. Obviously, roughly quarter way through, that they've got to have these water breaks. I think it's been a really impressive start by Ireland. I know they've conceded 8 points. They conceded a try we certainly didn't expect. But it's the variety and the quality to their play. And they just come in wave after wave after wave and eventually create openings. And that's what this Irish team is about, is what this squad is about. So I think it's been a very positive start, given that we're only 20 minutes into their first game at this World Cup.
Lots of water been taken on, and lots of cloths which have been dipped in ice water, putting around the necks to help cool everything down. Change from your day, Tony.
That's for sure. A very different game, as I said when we were talking about preparation earlier on for the inaugural World Cup. God, we hardly trained before that competition, Jim. You know,
and you weren't allowed to. You were told not to play for your club.
The IRFU sent us out letters to our clubs and to individuals and told us not to play. We were wrapped in cotton wool. So by the time we got to the Wellington for that opening James Last Rosa Tralee game, we hadn't played, and I couldn't tell you how long. But look.
And it was only 6 weeks after the end of what was then the Five Nations Championship, and Ireland had gone to Cardiff and had beaten Wales and were quite fancied, although it was a pretty decent Welsh team, were quite fancied to win it. And Wales had a couple of full-on games behind closed doors at the National Stadium in Cardiff, and Ireland had absolutely nothing.
Nothing. And we had the tragic incident, as you know, with Nigel Carr, where we lost him with that car bomb one morning when we were training in Merrion Road. So that training session went as well, and that was one of the very, very few, you know, that had been actually organised prior to the World Cup. But as I say, very, very changed times, very different game. Ultra amateur, Corinthian, call it what you will. Now we're at the other end of the spectrum, total professionalism.
Well, let's hope the old hoodoo can finally get put to bed, because it's been far too long. This is the 10th World Cup. Ireland have competed in every single one of them and have yet to get to the semi-finals.
Yeah, that glass ceiling, we hope will be broken at this one, but what a job we're going to have. Look, we're going to win this game today. We're going to beat Tonga next week, and then we have two absolute, I won't say nightmare games, but hugely challenging games. The Springboks, who I really fancy, and also a Scottish team that is really on fire at the moment. And bear in mind, they'll have the South African game out of the way this weekend, and then they've these two games to prepare for the Ireland game. So they're going to be all guns blazing. Who
do Ireland want to win that South Africa-Scotland game? Who would they prefer?
Yeah, interesting. I don't know is the answer. I think South Africa will win it. I just think they're too strong at this point in time. I think they may well win the pool, but look, we'll take each game as it comes, as they say.
Well, here we go again. 19-8 for Ireland. Most recent penalty by the Romanian scrum half Gabriel Rapanu, who scored their early shock try. Johnny Sexton gets the second half underway, and Ireland not releasing in the tackle. And referee from Georgia, Nika Amashu Kelly, gives the penalty to Romania to give them a chance to get back down to Romania, to get back down into Irish territory. 21 minutes gone. Ireland with 3 tries. Rapanu for Romania early on, and then Jamison Gibson Park, Hugo Keenan and Tadhg Beirne, 2 of them converted by the returning Johnny Sexton. Ireland's skipper, what an amazing player he's been since his debut for Ireland in 14 years ago, Fiji 2009. 114th cap today for this remarkable man. Puts his heart and soul into just about everything he does. So Romanian line out just inside the Irish 10-metre line, near side of the field. Romanian left, playing from right to left as we look at it. Not taken cleanly at the front. Good tidying up by Andrew Porter as the Romanian tight head prop Gordas goes over him, picked up by young Joe McCarthy, and he drives up to the 10-metre line. Referee having a good eye on what the Romanians are doing at the breakdown. I'm not sure they're entirely legal, but the ball is coming back on the Irish side, taken on by Peter O'Mahony over the 10-metre line. Gibson Park whips it away well. Keith Earls has come in off the wing as well, tackled by Florian Rosso, the flanker. Sexton pops it up nicely. Here goes Caelan Doris, turns his back to make himself an easy target for a supporting player. Sexton beautifully again, Ringrose, lovely dancing feet. Ireland picking up the rhythm and the orchestra being conducted by Sexton. Good drive by Peter O'Mahony wearing the 7. Now back on the Irish side, Sexton just on the 22. Little pop pass from Rob Herring to Tadhg Beirne, one of the try scorers. Here's Sexton again. This is better by Ireland. Lovely stuff. Aki gets away and gets it out wide to James Lowe. Little hop and a skip by Lowe. Lowe's going to get in. No, he puts it back inside, and it might just have been knocked forward by Keith Earls, and that was very close to being try number 4. But the piece of play was lovely.
Absolutely. And what I like that they're doing, like, they're not passing the ball for the sake of it. They're committing the opposition defensive line to having to make the tackle. I think Lowe will be a little disappointed there that he didn't manage to get it to Earls, and yet credit Earls. Bear in mind he's all the way over from the opposite wing, supporting his left winger and almost going in at the corner.
Yeah, interesting selection. Earls on the left wing, because he's been playing so much of his rugby in recent years, Jeremy, on the right.
But how could you, I go back to that left foot of James Lowe. Like, it's worth its weight in gold in defensive terms when you're back in the 22 in the in-goal area. To be able to use that left foot for both the 9 and the 10, particularly for the scrum half, to have that option is massive.
Joe McCarthy getting a little bit of help. I think it might just be a contact lens. You know him well from his school days down in Dublin, don't you?
Yeah, himself and his brother were at Blackrock College. He's a big unit, as they say. He's massive, and he's young, and he's full of enthusiasm, and it's a brave selection having him in that squad, and indeed in the team today. But that's how highly he's rated by not just Andy Farrell, but clearly by Paul O'Connell, whose opinion obviously is listened to.
Yes. And this time last year, the Ulster and Kieran Treadwell had such a good summer. Played in all 5 games, 2 against the Maori All Blacks, 3 against the All Blacks in the Test-winning series, and yet is not here.
Yeah, and indeed Klein as well, who's with South Africa out there because he was left out by Ireland. But they're the quality of locks that we have coming through at this point in the game's evolution.
Time was when you had one decent lock, you were very happy. Well, a Mexican wave goes round the
shoulder square, bind up.
Stade de Bordeaux. It's a scrum to Romania, who are only 11 points behind. 24 minutes gone. Scrum to Romania, 5 metres from their own line, far side of the field, the top right-hand corner as we look at it. Scrum half seems to have lost his jersey, or he's not got any number on it. Gabriel Rapanu, the try scorer. Ireland demolished the Romanian scrum for the first time. Number 8, Chirica, picks it up and tries to get himself towards the safety of the touchline, which he hadn't made. A lot of the Romanian forwards are behind their own goal line. They're taking it across the goal line, and Rapanu trying to get himself into position to kick, and he does this charge down.
Offside.
And the referee has said that whoever charged it down wearing a green jersey was offside, and that was Andrew Porter, not the first penalty he's given away today. So Ireland's chance of another try will have to wait for a minute or two yet.
Yeah, and he was offside. I was watching as the scrum half was about to pick the ball, and he was crossing the goal line into the in-goal area, which clearly is offside. So a let-off for Romania. And to be fair, Ireland aren't playing bad. I know there's only 11 points in it, but Romania are defending, well, certainly bravely. And they are reasonably well organised.
Into touch by Simeonescu, and it's going to be a Romanian line out just a metre or so inside their own half, far side of the field. The Irish left, and it goes nicely taken down by big second row Adrian Motok, who is a player from Biarritz. His partner in the second row, Stefan Iancu, is 6'11", biggest man in the park, back on the Romanian side. Pass back inside the 22, so can't kick it directly into touch. Well gathered by James Lowe on the far side, whips it in field. That actually looked forward, I have to say, to Hugo Keenan, and the crowd thought so too. And here goes Tag Byrne, his men on either side, and Gibson Park ran away very slightly from James Lowe, so that's another try put down. What did you think? Was that a forward pass down?
Yeah, no, that is one that will disappoint the coaching staff badly, because that should have been put away. If you look at the number of green shirts, that looks a forward pass.
Yeah.
I have to say to Hugo Keenan, right from the get-go, you're bang on, Jim. But look at the number of players, green shirts in support. So that's a poor pass by Lowe. Inside.
Yeah, the first pass from Byrne probably should have gone inside to Gibson Park rather than outside to Lowe, who was threatening to overrun him. Anyway, such as enthusiasm.
No, be under high foot in the rock. Yeah.
Peter O'Mahony having a word with the referee. And you're very brave if you've got having a word with Peter O'Mahony, I have to say. 26 minutes gone. Ireland 19, 3 tries, Romania 8, just the 1 try, and that came after less than 2 minutes and shocked the entire stadium. And most of the Irish support all around the world, I suspect, but Ireland have steadied the ship and have come back and are fairly well in control. They've hardly been inside their own half since the opening try was scored against them. Here's a scrum to Romania. Inside their own 22, far side of the field there, right. Going to be picked up by Chirica, the number 8, gets it to his scrum half, Rapanu, and he puts it along, gathered in now by Hugo Keenan, scorer of one of the Irish tries, up to halfway, runs across the halfway line and is still going. Fairly hefty looking tackle by Vlad Nakalu, and Ireland move it wide once again. Here they come, that's nicely done. Oh, very nearly given away. It has been given away. Well, that was just absolutely telegraphed, and Ireland can't afford to be doing that against better sides, never mind against these sides. A little bit sloppy by Ireland.
Yeah, sloppy in the end with the intercept, but prior to that, again, I was just watching Joe McCarthy. You were talking about big physical forward, but again, the soft hands. And this is what they're working on all the time, the interchangeability between forwards and backs. McCarthy, a lovely offload.
He's very hefty round the derriere and the thighs as well. Like, he is a big, serious unit, so he'd be a very good scrummager apart from anything else. Well, nicely done by Romania, but the points have been, the ball has been given away. They'll not be too dissatisfied with this, and they come over to the near side of the field, the Ireland right, for a line out. Now, Rob Herring has had a couple of iffy-ish ones, one crooked, but that one's fine. Nicely done. Gibson Park gets it away. Now, little flat pass to Earls. Bundyaki straightens and gets up to the 22. Nicely presented by Bundyaki. Oh, well, what a mess that was. Rob Herring came on like a thunderstorm, and the ball bounced off his chest and went forward, and the referee, you may well have heard, saying off the chest. Hugo Keane has to go back to his own 22, and he kicks the ball right-footed for the far side of the field, and that's a very good clearance kick by him. But that was another chance Ireland put, it's sloppy.
I'll give you time to change your boots.
Pass clearly wasn't intended for Herring. He was far too close given the pace on the pass from Gibson Park. But sloppy, Jim, yes.
Yeah, one of the Romanian front row forwards is sitting down, changing his boots. He's wearing a rather attractive shade of red, maybe cerise is the colour. I'm not altogether sure. I'm certainly not up with fashion. Dear me, I can remember when if a prop forward had turned up to play a game with red boots on, he'd have been told to go home.
Can you imagine? They're very different. When you watch the footballers too in the modern game, the amount of injuries they get with players standing on each other's each other's feet, because the leather is obviously so soft. Although I must admit, even as a rugby player, I like to have a really soft leather boots. I guess being a kicker, because you're in control.
Well, I used to have ones with a big toe cap on them.
What were they called? Flankers? Is that what we used to call them?
Yes, that's right. There was an Adidas flanker. Absolutely, an Adidas flanker. And they come right up over your ankles to protect your ankles. And they did. You never twisted your ankle because there was so much there to support you. Anyway, line out to Romania inside of their far side of the field. Nearly half an hour gone. Ireland leading by 19 points to 8. Rapanu gets it away. Now, this time they try to move it for the first time, but don't get it all that far. Good tackle by Peter O'Mahony in the middle of the park, holding the Romanian ball carrier. Rapanu is trying to get it out, and Ireland has slowed them down, and Romania forced to kick. There hasn't been a lot of, apart from their first try, a lot of great activity. Well taken by James Lowe, and he kicks it left-footed to the far side of the field. Has he put that directly into touch? Oh, he's got away with it. Oh, and it's kept in field nicely by Romania, and away goes outside half. Hinkley Valvosa, the New Zealander, gets up to his own 10-metre line. There's a wee chance that Romania could counter-attack here if they can get the ball. Rapanu digs it out, gets it back once again. This time it's to his fullback, who kicks down into the Irish half. Well covered, gathered in by Keenan. Sexton runs inside him. Keenan decides to kick himself and puts in a very good kick. Did that bounce directly into touch? Well, the two Romanian players had a wee look at each other. Now they're trying to work out what to do. Good tackle by Keith Earls on the Romanian outside half. Valvosa back to his number 8. Sharika, close to the 22, comes to the open side of the field. Gibson Park with the tackle. O'Mahony in there as well. And McCarthy, who's been a busy boy this evening.
Go for it.
Starting his first Rugby World Cup game. What a moment for him.
Hold.
Right-footed kick by Romania down to Ireland's 22. James Lowe underneath it. Referee blows the whistle.
Hold after the kick. Right, in front of kick everyone. Told you 3 times now already.
I think he was in front of the kicker.
Yes, I think he was. Johnny Sexton taps and takes it quickly in the 22. Sells a little dummy, pops it up to James Lowe, wearing number 11, drives up to within 5 metres of the Romanian line. The ball's come out very untidily by Ireland, and Romania have got themselves offside.
Like that on the ground. It's cynical.
And somebody's been sent to the bin, and it's one of the Romanians interfering with the ball, I think, on the ground.
Tackler, cynical action.
A cynical action, he said, and it's the full-back Marius Simeonescu, plays for Timisoara. 30 caps, also plays on the wing. 9 tries he's scored, but he'll not be scoring any for a wee while. And Ireland have gone for the scrummage, which is probably the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
There's no point in them going for penalties.
Even at 15 players, they had to. I think he's tapped this forward here. Absolutely. That was the hooker.
It may well have come before the hooker did something naughty. It certainly was hooker Ovidiu Kujaraku. But the man who's in the bin is Marius Simeonescu. And Ireland have opted for the scrum. Now, will they keep it nice and steady? And will the mighty Furlong and the equally mighty Porter and Rob Herring in the middle and the two big numbers 4 and 5 get themselves together and give this a big shunt across the Romanian line? That would be a huge psychological boost for Ireland as well. It's nice to see them running, but sometimes what you need is a bit of old-fashioned Irish beef. In it goes from Gibson Park. Well, no movement so far. Gibson Park comes to the open side. Aki dances a little bit static. He makes some ground. Ireland pop it up. Here goes McCarthy looking for his first Irish try. He's across the line, but I don't think he can get it down. The referee says no, it's been held up.
It'll be a dropout under the post.
That should have been another try. Ireland have probably wasted maybe 20 points in this first half.
I agree. That scrum under the post, I expected them to score, whether they took them on up front or whether they moved it.
Well, it was good work by the wonderfully proportioned Joe McCarthy. If you just look at the size of him, I haven't seen anybody built like that since a young Donal Lenihan came on the side way back in 1981.
Yeah, Donal's a similar build, actually. You're right, or was back then to McCarthy. That's great works by the Romanian outside half.
Yeah, Vasa got right in and prevented him getting the ball down. It was wonderful defending by the Romanian number 10, and McCarthy, the Ireland number 4, will be pretty disappointed. So it's going to be a drop out by the man who did the tackling, Vasa, as he found his touch. No, he hasn't. He doesn't want to find his touch. Gathered in by Keith Earl, whips it back in field. Here they come again, Ireland, and here goes Keelan Doris. First time we've ever really seen him with the ball in hand in this game. Now they move it to the far side again. Porter nicely done. Ring rose. That's Aki. He's got Lowe outside him. Has to give it to Lowe. Maybe he doesn't need to. Oh, he puts the foot down. Bundy Aki gets in. And that's international try number 10 for the New Zealand-born Connacht man, who's been such a permanent fixture in this Ireland squad for the last few years. And that's Ireland's 4th try.
And to be fair to Bundy Aki, he's playing particularly well in the opening 35 minutes of this game in every respect. Close in, far out, defensively, looking to attack on the outside. The quality of his passing, which sometimes we'll question, but he ran that line absolutely brilliantly. Realised, of course, he was taking on a lock forward in the process, and that does help. But it's having the appreciation in the moment to play it as it is, and that's exactly what he did. Lovely reverse pass there by Andrew Porter as well. That's the confidence this team play with when they're on the front foot.
Yeah, Aki had a man outside him, and he showed the covering second row forward the ball, and he knew that he wasn't going to get Bundy Aki, and that's takes Ireland up to 24 points to 8 with the conversion from the skipper Johnny Sexton to come. There's what's called a shot clock now, and he's got a certain limited amount of time in which to take the conversion, but he's 20 seconds to go. That should be well within his compass. Landed the first 2, missed the third. Is he going to get back on track? Well over 80% success rate with his international kicking. Sexton, that looks okay from here, and it's even better from down there. Lovely kick by Johnny Sexton. That's a real confidence booster, not just for himself but for the squad. So 4 tries, 3 converted, and Ireland 26-8 up.
And I think that was important at that stage of the game, because there was a bit of a void there, certainly in terms of scoring. And had Romania scored before they lost the man to the bin, you just worry about what type of game it might have turned out to be. As it is, they are now in control, and I would expect them maybe to score again before the break, certainly while Romania are down to 14 men.
Now, Romanian fullback Marius Simeonescu in the bin. Ireland gather in from the restart kick. It's popped in field to your man Bundy Aki, sets it up nicely. Gibson Park to Sexton, who's been quietish, moves it wide, taken on once again by McCarthy, who hasn't been quiet at all. He's been very busy, and a very impressive performance by the youngster, fully justifying his selection. back to Ireland, who kicked left-footed away down, well gathered in. It's fallen into the 22, but it doesn't matter. Gabriel Rapanu just watches his half-back partner, Hinckley Vauvasa, pops it down now to James Lowe onto the left foot, near side of the field. All the way back goes Romanian centre Jason Tomani, whips it in field to his outside half, who kicks left-footed. Near side of the field, the Irish right. Ireland playing from left to right, gathered in. Gibson Park puts it in field low, moves it wide now to Hugo Keenan, who's got a bit of pace, but ups to kick into a little bit of space, and that's a good kick. No, it's not a good kick. There's not much in the way of breeze down there, and that was a little bit of a miscue by Hugo Keenan.
Yeah, Keenan does very little wrong, as we know. He's been absolutely outstanding at full-back, but he had lots of green grass there to aim for. He'll be disappointed with that. He's a footballer too, plays a lot of association football, and he knows that was an opportunity to bounce the ball into touch, possibly even a 20-50.
Well, they'll be looking forward to the whistle going in about 2.5 minutes to herald the end of this first half, which has been pretty entertaining and successful for Ireland. Ireland was stolen that one. I think it was McCarthy got it away again. And here comes Sexton. Aki, nicely passed. Ringrose. Now it's Keenan into a bit of space. Chips it forward for Keith Earls, and Earls is legging it down, and you've got to feel sorry for the Romanian winger Onutu, and Earls managed to get there, and he couldn't quite control it, and Romania will get put into the scrum, which might just suit Ireland. But that was a great chance for Keith Earls, who doesn't look as if he's lost too much of the old gas, has he?
No, he has not. He's a wonderful role model, I have to say, for any young aspiring rugby player in his attitude to the game, of the way he plays. He looks offside there to me, I have to say, when Keenan put that ball through. That was a much better kick by Keenan as well along the ground, but I have to say I thought Earls was offside, but there you go.
Well, he couldn't quite control the ball. His hand was shoved up against the ball by a Romanian defender, and it went back inside the Romanian 22. But it's going to be a Romanian scrum with about 1.5 minutes to go. Ireland leading by 26 points to 8. Pretty decent start to this, their most recent Rugby World Cup campaign. Well, it began horrendously, if not farcically, in New Zealand away back at the end of May 1980, 87. It hasn't got much better since, to be honest. There've been a few decent moments, but nothing to jump up and cheer about. Is this going to be the year? We thought that 4 years ago in Japan. Didn't happen. End of Joe Smith. His assistant Andy Farrell has come in, has done a wonderful job. Grand Slams, series winning, beating everybody in the Southern Hemisphere, #1 in the world for more than a year. Nobody ever thought that would happen to any Irish side, never mind the rugby side. But yet, a lot of ifs and buts still. Good squeeze at the Romanian scrum by Ireland, picked up by Chirica at the back, and that's good driving by the number 8. He's done really well. Good defending by his opposite number, Keelan Doris, who helps to bring him down. Kicked left-footed down into Irish territory, gathered in by Keenan, runs up to halfway. Has he got men outside him? I think he has, but he's decided to straighten. Maybe the wrong choice. High tackle by Romania. Ireland get the penalty, and that should go into the corner, Tony. What do you think? Oh, they've taken it quickly. Away they go. Gibson Park pops it up. Good work once again, and here goes Aki. He is sensational. Back inside, and Sexton with the try. Doesn't cross the whitewash all that often, and he's slightly annoyed. He got tackled rather nastily by Fonovai Tangimana, and Sexton has hurt his thumb. Well, he doesn't need his thumb to kick, but he does need his thumb, and that's really unfortunate. There was a tackle after the ball was put down. It was good work initially by Keenan, and then Ireland took the ball, and there was a little tap, and away went Gibson Park. Stepped back infield, needed a bit of help, got it from Bundyaki across the 22, whipped it back inside, and there was Johnny Sexton. Well, I'm not sure that the number 13 really did anything illegal.
He didn't. That's what I was going to say. That was careless on Sexton's part. Brilliant by Aki again. You know, if you're to pick out the outstanding player in a green shirt so far, I think it has to be Aki. He's been involved in most everything. But Sexton, his peripheral vision there.
He put the ball down with one hand, which he shouldn't have done, and
left himself open to what happened in the end. Hopefully he's all right, but that was a little bit careless on the Ireland captain's part.
Well, conversion by Johnny Sexton as the half-time whistle goes. So Ireland looking a lot more comfortable than they were after 2 minutes when they were completely ambushed, and Romania got away with a breakaway try scored by scrum half Gabriel Rapanu. But since then, well, Ireland have had no fewer than 5 tries. The most recent by Johnny Sexton, and are leading by 33 points to 8. Sum it up, Tony.
Yeah, I think both teams will be happy, strange as it may seem, even though Romania have conceded over 30 points in that first half, which doesn't augur well for what's ahead in the second. But in general, their defensive play has been very good. The killer, of course, was having the yellow card, as it always is. And Ireland are one of those teams that are ruthless when the opposition is reduced in numbers, and they will try and expose them in the wider areas, and they've succeeded in doing that. In individual terms, as you've said many times in your commentary, Joe McCarthy's name has come up quite a lot, so he's having a game certainly to remember. Caelan Doris we haven't heard a lot of in that game, or indeed the Irish back row in general. But as I said, behind, Sexton's good, he's settled back in, Gibson Park is lively. In the middle of the field, I think Aki has been outstanding, and Hugo Keenan in general as reliable as ever. So overall, happy enough with the way they've gone on that opening four.
It's a day for the backs, Tony, and for running the game. I mean, Ireland haven't had to take on the Romanian pack and try to subdue them because they're easily subduable.
They are, although they're fighting well, to be fair to them, but they're not going to compare with the likes of South Africa, even Scotland for that matter, possibly Tonga as well. I don't know enough about their forwards at this stage, but clearly they are going to be very physical, being an island side. But I just think in general, for an opening 40 minutes, given that we haven't played since March, is it? No, the friendlies I'm talking about, a competitive game. It's okay. It's not perfect, far from it, nor would we expect it to be. But we're heading in the right direction for the first game.
The Romanian try, Tony, not to dwell too long, but it was horrendous from an Irish point of view, wasn't it?
It was, and there were a lot of nerves, as you would expect in that opening spell, and the amount of kicking on both sides, and we saw the same in last night's game as well. In the first game, over kicking, in my opinion, and we conceded the try in the midst of that, so we're trying to concede.
And Ireland to kick on and win?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Tony. Well, there you go. 5 tries to 1 at the interval. The opening try by the Romanian scrum half Gabriel Rapanu, which he failed to convert, but he did add a penalty later on. However, Ireland got 5 tries, and the last one, the most recent one, by Johnny Sexton, Ireland's captain, and he converted that one, as he did with 3 others. So Ireland leading quite comfortably at half-time in Bordeaux. It's Ireland 33 and Romania 8.
OK, thank you to Jim Neely and to Tony Ward. Orla Bannon here in studio. Chris Henry, the former Ireland forward, is with me. We'll get his thoughts on what he saw there in the first half shortly. But now, with the time at 22 minutes past 3, it's time to pause for the BBC News.
BBC News NI on Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds.
I'm Naomi Holland. Good afternoon. More than 1,000 people are now known to have died in a powerful earthquake in Morocco. The quake, with a magnitude of 6.8, struck close to Marrakesh, bringing down homes and trapping many people. Hundreds have been injured, and it's feared there are more casualties in remote areas which can't be accessed at present. Claire McCaughey works as a doctor in Marrakesh. She described the moment the quake struck.
The whole house shaking very violently, things falling off shelves, pictures falling off walls. After 2 or 3 seconds, when your brain clicks in, you realise what's happening. I jump out of bed, grab the girls. Somewhere in your head, it sort of clicks in somewhere. You learn somewhere you've got to get downstairs and get in a doorway. So ran outside onto the street where all the neighbours were doing the same.
The police have seized what's thought to be 6 improvised explosive devices, ammunition and a machine pistol during a search operation in Londonderry. A PSNI spokesperson said the items were found in the Rosemount area yesterday and would now undergo rigorous forensic examination. During the operation, officers came under attack from youths throwing petrol bombs and bricks, and a number of people had to be moved from their homes for a time. Daniel Khalif, who sparked a huge manhunt when he escaped from Wandsworth Prison in London on Wednesday, has been recaptured. Police, responding to confirmed sightings in the Chiswick area, arrested him at around 11 o'clock this morning. He broke out of the prison by hiding underneath a lorry. Khalif, who's 21, had been on remand awaiting trial on terror charges. And the weather cloud will build up this afternoon, bringing scattered showers. Some may be heavy with a chance of thunder. Highs today of around 23 degrees. BBC News.
Who says comedy can't be educational?
All of that's news to me. There's a Northern Ireland? Yeah.
Satirist Oliver Callanan tests British comedians on what they know about Ireland.
So the official state emblem of Ireland?
It's busting myths.
What?
Oh. And challenging stereotypes.
Round-faced Irish?
Yeah. Killing leprechauns.
Which bit of this will get me cancelled?
Listen now on BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound. Listen live on digital, online or on BBC Sounds.
And you're very welcome back to our coverage of Ireland's opening game in the Rugby World Cup. It's half-time. They're doing pretty well in Bordeaux. They're leading Romania 33 points to 8 at half-time. Before we get the thoughts of Chris Henry, who's here with me in the studio, I'll just bring you up to date with what's happening elsewhere in the Irish Premiership. Currently, after 25 minutes gone in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, it's Carrick Rangers 0, Ballymena United 0, Dungannon Swifts 1, Glenavon 1, and later on at 5:30, Newry City taking on Glentoran. Coleraine, they're Ballymena actually have just gone in front at Carrick Rangers. Ballymena, of course, they haven't won a game this season, but they've just taken the lead against Carrick Rangers. So the latest there, Carrick 0, Ballymena United 1. Coleraine are taking on Hamilton in a Scottish Challenge Cup game, but that has been delayed due to travel disruption, not kicking off now until 3:45. Rory McIlroy is making a bit of a charge at the Irish Open at the K Club. He's 10 under par now with just one hole left to play in his third round today. Hurley Long still leading on 13 under par, but the bunch really gathering in behind him. Shane Lowry, he's also doing pretty well today. He's moved up to 9 under par through 12 holes, but a whole bunch of players there just getting in behind Hurley Long. Jordan Smith and Callum Hill, they're both on 12 under, and Rory McIlroy, though, he'll be pretty excited. Moving day Saturday in golf, isn't it? And Rory McIlroy certainly making a charge today at the K Club. Chris Henry is here. We first of all actually know we'll go to Gavin Andrews because he's in Bordeaux. It's half-time, of course, at the Stade de Bordeaux. Ireland leading Romania 33 points to 8. Gavin, it looks pretty hot over there. How were conditions in that first half for Ireland?
Yeah, Orla, it's really hard to over-egg how hot it is. Even Johnny Sexton took the Irish side for the anthems a couple of steps forward into the shade. We look across to the far side of the pitch, and every Irish fan who is in sunshine has moved from the sunshine and is now in the shade. Some of the fans actually stood up at the back of the seats and watched the first half from the shade. Even in the water break, I think Ireland took maybe an extra minute and a half and made Romania wait. So it's pretty tough for them out there. I imagine they'll be very happy with the 33 points. They probably left a few out there as well. You could see Ireland kicking on in this second half and getting towards 70, but it is hot. 34 degrees. It's coming up to 4:30 local time, and there is not a breath here. So hard conditions, but Ireland won't really face anything like this again with any luck over the course of this tournament.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin. You get in the shade there. You run around and make sure you're in the half of the stadium that's in the shade. Chris Henry, sounds hot over there, but as Gavin says, this is the only time Ireland will face these conditions with all the rest of their games in the pool stages coming at 8 o'clock kickoffs our time, and I guess they'll be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I think they will, of course. Clearly it shows that it hasn't been. It's been some of Ireland's best, and that, certainly some of Ireland's not so great things that we've seen, and a lot of it's come down to the sort of poor decisions in the way they've tried to play. The example obviously is how we started. Really sloppy kicking, running from our own 22, giving Romania a chance really early on, and that certainly isn't the Irish team that we're used to. So there's no doubt about it. Whether it's as part of it, some guys obviously haven't had as much game time. For example, Johnny Sexton, in regards to the decision making that we're choosing, or is it overall that the heat playing its part? Because guys like Hugh Keenan, James Lowe, who have been so solid, making so many very very rarely making errors, that I think they've kicked a few balls out in the full. They've made some sloppy penalties, where the team sloppy penalties, just the general offsides. So we've seen some really really good stuff, and yet obviously we've seen some pretty poor stuff. But overall, I guess they're going into the half time, the scoreline, they have to be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it was strange at the start to see them running from pretty much everywhere. Do you think that was had they gone out obviously with that game plan in mind? Let's try and run the ball from everywhere here because it's only Romania.
Well, I think it's more maybe the mindset, knowing that it's always going to be harder defending than it is attacking. You want to be the side, and in the games you waste more energy defending certainly than you do attacking. So maybe they've gone with that mindset, but it's a test match in a World Cup. I think probably have we been guilty of trying to go wide too early, pushing things too early. I think the fact that Joe McCarthy's been outstanding, the big young 22-year-old who's had loads of carries go forward, but sort of our big key players that would usually be talking about so much in these matches, like Keelan Doris, like Peter Manny, like James Ryan, Furlong, he's give away a pass, give the intercept, and we don't want to take away that passing game. But ultimately, we need these guys to get the ball and run hard and generate those few hard meters to make sure then we get the quick ball, and then we can go and push. And because we've scored some tries from absolutely nothing, and yes, we have the calibre of players to do that, but it's a test match rugby. It's the old cliche, you've got to earn that to go wide, and certainly I think that's what we've seen this first half, that maybe we've just tried to push things too much and gone away from what we're really good at.
We haven't seen too many set piece plays at all. The ball has been in play a lot. What did you make of what little we did see of the scrum and the line out? Because the line out really had come under a little bit of scrutiny in the warm-up games.
Yeah, overall I think first line out, I think they contested well, so I don't think there's any worries there. I think as this game progresses, especially with the bench, the strength of the bench the Irish have, when they make those changes, I could see that becoming more dominant. Romania getting that yellow card, that's the tempo. Jameson Gibson Park's done really well upping the tempo at the right times and forcing them to make the errors that you'd expect Romania to do. So I think the set piece is going to become more important in the second half, definitely. I think one disappointing thing, I think Simon Easterby and Paul O'Connell will be saying, let's get in the air. Romania have actually had some really easy line-out wins, and they've had time to launch and really take it does. So, the bread and butter stuff, we should be targeting their scrum, targeting the line-out and getting in the air, because I don't think Ireland have really backed themselves in getting up and competing. They've sort of just let Romania have the ball when they want, and kind of just...
Is that about conserving energy, possibly a little bit?
Honestly, I think it'd be more they would have a tactic in their head, but I'm not sure why that is the case. I think a team like Romania, you really want to test yourself on the ground, line out and get up and get some turnover ball and attack from there. So honestly, I'm not sure. I think in general, as I said, Simon Easterby especially will be, defence generally has been good, but we've given away those soft penalties, really offside, sloppy stuff that, yes, the heat, I guess, has played its part. That's when you're just that wee bit half second not as diligent, I guess, of no one getting on the back foot. And maybe Ireland just need to be we've had some really good tactical kicking, and then we just give them a soft penalty in their own 22, which allows them to safe out. I think it's about maybe just playing a wee bit safer in those sort of 50-50 calls, and not going in your shell attacking wise, because some of the attacking shape we've seen some of the best there. Bundyaki's been outstanding in the way his ability. I was going to say,
it's been a day for the backs to shine, and he has certainly been key.
Well, he's been the one that's had the most opportunities with the ball in hand. I think Ringrose, I guess, has been a wee bit quieter, but Bundy, we're just spoiled for choice in a lot of positions, but certainly in centre. The fact that Bundyaki and as well documents Stuart McCluskey and Henshaw, but Bundy's probably stood out for me in the backs. And in the forwards, I have to say, the young 22-year-old Joe McCarthy he's made a couple of really good important steals, one very prominent one, the line out whenever they'd won, and he actually just ripped it off them. He got held up over the line, could have scored. Such
have
fine
left
margins.
a few tries out there, undoubtedly.
They have. Listen, it's a test match rugby, and fair play to Romania. They're making us work for it, but I do think the calibre of the top 5 teams in the world against someone like Romania, it's gonna take to 50-60 minutes, especially with a bench coming off that is the calibre of players that we have. I think we'll really see why Ireland are the top the top team when it gets to the last 20 minutes here, and it's about being ruthless now to really, really finish strong and just tidy up a few things. I think it's going to be a really cool, calm, collected change room. I think the fact that they can get a breath, I think the fact that the fans can take a breath, because watching the game, it reminds me of tours whenever you used to go to, say, Argentina. We're totally coming from different climate. The mind's going to be the winner of this game.
Now, whenever Ireland played Romania in the World Cup in 2015 at Wembley, a sold out Wembley, you played in the game, you played the full 80 minutes. How many of the forwards who are in action here this afternoon do you expect to play full 80 minutes, or how soon do you think the changes will be rung here?
I'd be saying 10 more minutes here for the likes of Furlong, Porter. Make the changes early and give these guys on the bench a good run as well.
Yeah, they definitely will probably do that. We'll get to see what will happen. The teams are about to kick off again. Let's cross to our commentary team of Tony Ward and Jim Neely.
Well, the job for Ireland is only half done. They received the restart kick from a Romanian side, trailing by 25 points, 33-8 for Ireland. And Ireland straight away try to move the ball wide. Bundyaki, who's been outstanding thus far, sets it up nicely. Gibson Park on the near side. Ball knocked forward by the Romanian outside centre, Fonovai Tangamana, who's a Tongan by birth, and good timing because straight back on the field is Marius Simeonescu, the Romanian fullback who was sent to the bin for something naughty but not terribly serious in the first half. So back to 15 apiece. Ireland's try scorers, if you're just joining us here on BBC Radio Ulster FM for World Cup coverage, we'll be with you all the way through with Ireland as far as they go, and let's hope that they go the furthest they've ever gone. Gibson Park, Keenan, Tyke Byrne, Bundy Aki, Johnny Sexton, all with first half tries. Sexton with 4 conversions, and for the Romanians a try and a penalty by scrum half, a very talented little scrum half, Gabriel Rapanu. It's Ireland's first set piece of the second half. It's their scrum. They're just inside the Romanian half by 5 or 6 metres, and 5 or 6 metres in from the near side of the field, the Ireland left. Temperature dropping very slightly in Bordeaux. Referee blows the whistle. Seemed to go down on the Ireland loose head side, where the tight head prop of Romania, Alexandru Gordas, is taking down Andrew Porter. Plays his club rugby in France for Stade Niçois. Not one of the big French teams by any stretch of the imagination, but they're all playing a fairly decent standard of rugby, which is important, and of course they can come and play for their national side under World Rugby laws.
Yeah, no, to be fair, again, turning the clock back, when the influence was mainly French and to a lesser degree Italians when it came on the scene as well. At least is the type of rugby that they play today, and they do have the ability to play that game. They also have Vern Cotter involved as well, Jim, in a consultancy role, and that helps too with his background in the game. Indeed, himself and Joe Schmidt were a partnership, weren't they, for a very long time in French rugby. So they have some good people involved.
The try-scoring scrum half for Romania has got a new shirt on. He's wearing number 25, so let's not worry too much about that. Ball back to Jameson Gibson Park. Sexton nicely done low. Bit of a hospital pass there, gets themselves set up. And Ireland have got themselves a penalty because the Romanians were up far too quickly, and you'd expect Ireland to go down the line and into touch and see if young Master McCarthy can win a line-out ball.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Offside by backs.
Sexton will come up the left, I would imagine.
James Ryan having a word with Johnny Sexton. James Ryan has emerged very nicely as a definitely when Johnny Sexton goes, and this will be and I think James Ryan will take over the captaincy of Ireland.
I agree. I think he's the logical candidate, and that's how Farrell sees him as well. Absolutely.
So Johnny Sexton puts it into touch very nicely indeed. A matter of 5 metres from the Romanian line, the near side of the field. The Irish left. Ireland playing from right to left. Andrew Porter comes over and has a little word with his hooker Rob Herring. Caelan Doris standing at the front, and it goes into Ryan in the middle, and Ireland come down. It's taken forward, and Tyke Furlong's in there. Ireland have got the ball. They're getting very close. It's coming back slowly, and Ireland have another little drive. It's Furlong or Caelan Doris yet again. Ireland still there within 2-3 metres of the line. Here goes Furlong, picks up and drives. Referee's given a penalty against Romania for offside. Peter O'Mahony gets knocked back. Gibson Park has a little go himself and is held up and scragged 2 or 3 metres away. They're across the line, but they can't quite get it down. That's good defending by Romania, but they'll have to defend yet again because the penalty is going to be given against the referee. Still waiting. Little pop pass by O'Mahony. McCarthy's very close to his first international try, as he was in the first half, and he said no, and he'll come back. Mr. Amash Kelly, and he's given the penalty against outside. Now Ireland can go for the scrum, or they can pop it into touch. Choices.
Either or. They should be able to score off one or the other. In fact, they're going for neither. They're going for a quick tap. Rob Herring.
Herring taps and drives. Good support play, and he's got the ball down. Well done, Rob Herring. Amazingly sniffing out the opposition line yet again. And wonderful stuff by Rob Herring, who's got himself international try number 5.
Yeah, well taken by Herring. He's so strong close to the line, those big shoulders. Well taken by Herring. Good low body position and with the leg drive to take him over the line. This should be converted by Sexton as well. And you would think one more converted try in old currency, another 7 points, and that will be the signal to begin to enter the Irish bench and to try and get as many players involved as possible.
Well, you wonder, does he go by points scored or does he go by minutes played, and how will he do it? In the meantime, Johnny Sexton is not going to miss them from there, and that's Ireland up now to 40 points. The last few times they played Romania, they've been averaging 45, 46 points a game, and it doesn't look as if anything is going to be different this time.
No, I think they're going to go way beyond that today. They were seen from behind, the clarity of Herring's touchdown.
It's not easy, that. I mean, you're running into guys who are even bigger than you are, even though you've got the momentum. So it's all about sniffing out the line. You keep your eye focused on the line and do whatever you have to do to actually get there and ignore the guys who are trying to knock lumps out of you.
Yeah, no, and it's his body position as well. That's what I say. He really judged that well. That's a poor kick out. I just feel, I think there might be an overlap with what you said there, Jim, that another 5 minutes, I think Ireland, if they score another 7 points, you're talking about 50 minutes plus then on the clock. And I think you're going to see Ireland start to unload the bench at that stage, because the game is won. It's won even now, and let's not pretend otherwise. But certainly another converted try, and Ireland will be out of sight.
Well, unfortunately for the Romanians, their outside half, Hinkley Vasa, has kicked the ball directly into touch. So Ireland will come back to the middle of the stadium and have a put into the scrum. They've not been under any serious pressure at any of the set pieces. But this is what you tend to get in Rugby World Cups as opposed to Football World Cups, just simply because the number of teams taking part, and the top ranked teams are so much better than even the second ranked teams, let alone the third ranked teams.
Unfortunately, that's where World Rugby have to address the inequality in between competitions, and tier 2 teams not playing the top tier sides. That has to change.
Ireland win the scrum. Gibson Park in the near side, and that was a pretty hopeless pass from Ringrose to Bundyaki. Good tackle in there by Peter O'Mahony. Referee playing advantage. Ball kicked long, gathered in by James Lowe on the left wing for Ireland. That's a very good kick by James Lowe. Pops it down. In fact, it was Hugo Keenan, I do believe, and pops it down into the Romanian 22. It's going to be a Romanian, line out, but Ireland have a chance to put pressure on. Probably booing a little bit. They didn't think that was right. Stuart Barnes incurring the wrath of the crowd.
Yep.
Hugely experienced Stuart Barnes.
Number one white, please.
Just having a look at it again and look, see what was wrong.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
That's a Romanian throw just outside the 22. Great kick by Keenan.
Yep. Ovidiu.
On the, please, yes.
Kojoaru.
That's fine.
With the ball, they've made a change in the Romanian front row.
Wait.
Julian Hartig has come on, and Alexandru Savan has come on at loose head prop. Romania win the ball from the line out, and they've got it away, and they've kicked it downfield, gathered in by James Lowe on the halfway line. Keenan moves it wide. Good chance this now. Here goes Ringrose. We haven't really seen him do anything at all with ball in hand. And Ireland get up to the Romanian 10-metre line. Gibson Park gets it back. Sexton, little flat pass to Herring. Scampers through, gets it on to Aki, looking for a second. Aki rides the tackle, goes to ground. Has he held on to it? No, he's left it behind him. Nicely done, Sexton. Lovely wide pass. Here goes Lowe. He's going to straighten, and he's still going low. Oh, he's going to make it, is he? No, held up 2 metres away. Great chance. Gibson Park brings it in field, and Ireland in at a canter. And it's your man himself, Peter O'Mahony. What a try. What a try by O'Mahony.
And I honestly think that's the target they would have set themselves, to try and get a couple of second half tries, converted tries, 14 extra points, which will take up to about 47-8 now, near 40-point lead, which, as I say, opens the door to any replacements that he wants to use now. Obviously, he won't empty the entire bench immediately, but certainly bit by bit he's going to give as many players a run as possible.
Well, Aki is certainly playing like a man who's got the bit between his teeth. He made the initial thrust, and then there was a wonderful run down the near wing by James Lowe, and the ball back, and plenty of room, and it was O'Mahony just sauntered over. What a good try that was.
Too easy. I actually did him a disservice in the first half. For some reason I called it Josh van der Vlier, and I meant to say O'Mahony with a pass and lead into one of the tries. But yeah, that was all too easy for O'Mahony in the end.
I'm not sure who'd be the more chuffed to be called by the other name. Both be equally happy, since they have such a great admiration for each other. Two of the best back row forwards that Ireland have ever produced, and indeed currently in World Rugby at the moment. You pick O'Mahony on any side to play any team. Here comes Sexton looking for another conversion. Oh, he's made that nicely, and it's now gone up to 47 points to 8. So Ireland fast approaching the half century. They've gone beyond what they normally achieve against Romania, and O'Mahony gets in for his 12th international try.
And one of the easiest he'll ever score too. There goes Andrew Porter, there goes Tyke Furlong, there goes the entire front row, as we thought might happen on 50. Be interesting to see how long more Sexton stays on.
Now Ronan Kelleher is on, Jeremy Loughman is on, and Tom O'Toole, a young Ulsterman, is on for, like Loughman, for first, and indeed Kelleher his first World Cup game. So a complete change of front row, and with tougher tasks to come, like Tonga and South Africa and Scotland. Not a bad move.
I didn't see what happened there, Jim. Was it a knock-on?
Yeah, I think Ireland just knocked it forward inside the 22, with injuries to Cian Healy, and of course Dave Kilcoyne on the injury list at the moment. Loughman's done pretty well to get in there.
Yes, he has. I'm not sure it was a knock-on. I think it was slightly back, but either way the referee's given his decision.
Okay, good to go. Good to go. Romania, good to go.
Romania are making a change as well in the front row, seeing as Ireland have brought on numbers 16, 17 and 18. Romania have got Jorge Gajon, a tight head prop, who's in against Jeremy Loughman, who's got a very peculiar hairstyle. No Finlay Bealham today, who's probably even more so, but I'm glad I'm sitting here and not there to criticise anybody's hairstyle. Anyway, scrum goes down on the near side. Loughman under a wee bit of pressure from the replacement.
Right, same. Just keep the balance. Keep your
Gajon.
Right, don't take it all the way through. Let's go again. Keep the balance up.
Referee just asking them to keep the balance, and there's been a change at loose head prop for Romania. Alexandru Sava is on. So Romania have changed both props. The hooker is still there from the start. Ovidiu Kojukaru. Scrum half and try score from early on in the game. Gabriel Papanu with the feet to the scrum, which is directly in front of the Irish post, and we just slightly to the left as we look at it, and just on the 22. Good squeeze by the new Irish front row. That is a good bit of scrummaging, but picked up and driven off the back by Christian Sherika, the Romanian number 8 and captain, and it's been nudged forward, and Ireland will get the put in and should get the ball away fairly comfortably. Is there anybody you're looking forward to seeing coming off the bench other than those we've seen so far, Tony?
Yeah, no, I'll make the obvious one. I'm a big Jack Crowley fan. I think there's a lot to his game. Quite apart from his versatility, he can play 12 and 15 as well. But I like the way he adapts. He's got an immediate presence on the team, and you know, he doesn't seem to have any fear. So I'd like to see Crowley. I'm looking forward to see Crowley when eventually his time comes.
And Mac Hansen to
Oh yeah, well, we know what to expect from Hansen at this level, at this stage, but Crowley's still learning the trade, so to speak.
Ball in his left hand. Jamison Gibson Park just gave his number 8, Caelan Doris, a wee bit of a nudge as he came round to put the ball into the scrum. Are we going to see Doris pick up? No, it's Gibson Park on the narrow side, and they switch it now to Aki, who switches it yet again. This is good stuff by Ireland. Away now by Gary Ringrose. Bounces off that where has been spilled forward, and that's very careless by Ireland. Great chance there. It all looked so easy, and Gary Ringrose is very annoyed with himself, and so he should be.
No, he's not having a good outing today by any means, and he's one of our nailed-on players, as we know, at outside centre. But no, that wasn't good again. He hasn't been particularly conspicuous in any positive way today. That's poor. Losing possession very, very easily.
Yeah, centre combinations are all about balance, and you know, the balance between McCluskey and Aki playing together wouldn't be quite right. You need contrasting players, and that's what Ringrose gives you. But not today. He hasn't played well.
Yeah, no, they are spoiled for choice in the middle of the field. There's no doubt about that. But as you say, it's a matter of getting the right combination as we go along. Up till now, really, it's been Henshaw and Ringrose. But take any two from 4, and whoever does best in the pool games, they'll go forward if we go forward to the quarter-final, which we hope we will, obviously.
Sorin Bardasu has come on as replacement hooker for Romania. Off goes Ovidiu Kojokaru, and Ireland penalised at the scrum. Tom O'Toole on the far side. I think it was the assistant over there, who is Andrea Piardi, called the attention of the referee, Nika Amashu Kelly. So the Romanians, well, 3 points would be no use to anybody at this stage. And they're going to go into the corner, and it's Marius Simonescu, who had 10 minutes in the bin in the first half and started the second, puts it into touch, and a good chance for Romania. We've played 6 minutes in the second half, and Ireland bring it on to serious men. How wonderful to see Josh van der Vleer and Ian Henderson playing in his 3rd World Cup coming on.
Not bad replacements to bring on, and that is the point. We are so strong. And I'm glad to see that. It's James Ryan that Ian Henderson's coming on for, so Joe McCarthy's getting a full run, and I think that's a good decision. That's all 5 forwards now off and replaced, so it remains to be seen what back changes will be made in the immediate.
Romania win the line out. Good grappling work by Florian Rossu, the flanker. They're only about 10 metres away from the Irish line. Van der Vleer goes in just to help steady up the ship a little bit. Gibson Park looking in the narrow side where Keith Earls is. Romania have got to within 6 metres of the Ireland line, and they're still moving forward. This would bring the roof off the place if the Romanians can hang on and get across the line. But there's been some good defending there on the far side by Kelleher. Ball coming back on the Romanian side, and Simonescu is in there. Good work by Adrian Motok, the second row forward, sets it up. And again, Romania drive forward. They've come in field by about 15 metres and 5 metres from the Ireland line, far side of the field, the Irish right. And here go Romania again, and again Ireland digging in, showing some wonderful qualities of reserve. Back they go again, driving forward, and Romania sealing the whole thing off. And Ireland deservedly get the penalty. It's good work in defence by Ireland. That'll please Andy Farrell.
And Jim, I watched particularly closely there from that maul when they were getting close to the line, and he's only on the field this minute, but Ian Henderson was the key player who brought the man with the ball to ground in the end. That's prior to what we're just seeing now in the replay. That's good defence by Ireland.
Well, Henderson in the last couple of years has had an awful time with injury. Some minor, some serious, but he's been there all the time.
And I always come back to the point, you know, we all played with them in our time. There are these go-to players in the dressing room, players you like to have there, they're senior figures. And Henderson accepts that. Anytime I see him interviewed, he impresses me. And to do what I just did there is exactly what you want from one of those more senior players.
Well, Ireland have driven the ball away, and away goes Kelleher over the 10-metre line. Now Ireland move it wide of Sexton, gets it to Keith Earls, and Earls is told by Sexton, go forward or come back in field, and he has come back in field. And Romania, well, Ireland hanging on to the ball. I thought that would have been a penalty against I thought that was a penalty to Ireland. I was just going to say the Romanians have made a change. Number 23, Taylor Gonteniak is on, and his dad, I remember, playing and captaining Romania a long time ago.
God bless your memory.
Has that gone to touch? No, it hasn't. Well kept in on the far side by Hugo Keenan from that kick to touch by Simeonescu, and he brings it back in phase. Now here goes Ringrose. What can he do from here? Back inside to Aki, which is not a bad thing to do. Aki makes a little bit of ground. Gibson Park gets it in. Sexton, nicely done. Good work by Jeremy Loughman. Gets up to the halfway line. Gibson Park again. Now it's Sexton yet again. Good galloping run by Ireland and by Henderson. Now it's Sexton. Little chip kick through. Here come Ireland. Tyke Byrne chases down the Romanian outside half, who gets away from one tackle and then two tackle. Poorish work there inside the Romanian 22 by Ireland, but he spilled the ball forward. I think he just ran out of legs. He was exhausted, the poor fella. Don't think he could have gone any further.
He deserved better at the end of that, and he realised himself he just ran out of juice, and the support wasn't there. But a good counter-attacking break by the Romanian outside half by Bao Massa.
Well, he did very well. He came off and got away initially from Keith Earls, and then got in between Kelleher and Van der Veer, which doesn't occur very often, and got himself outside Keenan, and then Johnny Sexton slowed him down, and he spilled the ball forward as he ran into the Irish captain. I think he was quite glad to see Johnny Sexton, who stopped him from going any further, because I don't think he had the legs.
110 helping out another, so to speak. I think we've another drinks break coming up.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, if you're just joining us here on BBC Radio Ulster for World Cup Rugby Special, it was a dramatic start in Bordeaux. After 2 minutes, the Romanian scrum half scored a wonderful try. Gabriel Rapanu ran half the length of the field and touchdown underneath the Irish post, and amazingly missed the conversion. But Ireland steadied the ship and came back, and then by half-time they'd rattled in, well, tries by Jemison Gibson Park, Hugo Keenan, Tyke Byrne, Bundy Aki and Johnny Sexton himself, 4 of which Sexton converted. And in the second half there have been 2 more tries to take Ireland's total of touchdowns up to 7. Peter O'Mahony followed up one by Rob Herring, who's left the field. Ireland have rung the changes. There's still a few replacements to come on, but we'll see them as and when. So decent start by Ireland, Tony, without anybody getting hugely enthusiastic about it.
No, just what we said at half-time. I think it's been a huge game for McCarthy, and I don't want to put too much pressure on the young lad, but for a debut, the performance he's putting in for a full international coming on from the start. Conor Murray, I think, has just come on from Gibson Park. I just caught a glimpse of him there. So that's the first of the backs replacements. So they still have 2 more to use on the bench. And that's what we would have expected around the hour mark. So it looks like Sexton is staying on, which is interesting too. And he does need the time. We're just seeing a replay here of O'Mahony. I don't think he had an easier one than that. Absolutely no opposition on the line when he dived over.
How do you feel Johnny Sexton has coped with the return to rugby after half a year out?
I think he's done very well. I mean, the expectations are massive. He's 38 years of age. He's playing there in 33 degrees we're even talking about. Some of his passing has been superb. I think he should be happy the way that he's carried himself in this game and slotted in.
One of my favourite rugby players in years too was around that age when he was still playing for Argentina, the great Hugo Porta.
Oh yeah. I played against him a few times with Ireland on the lines, and I have to say he was a class act in every. I think he became an ambassador for his country.
He did
in the end in South Africa. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, for Argentina.
I'm not sure Johnny will achieve that. You never know.
Let's go again. Let's control the balance.
But he was some player, Jim.
It's okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, the man who helped Leinster so much, Felipe Contapone, was another great Argentinian outside half who played until he was a fair old age. I remember years and years ago watching the great Irish international John Hewitt win an Ulster Senior Cup final for Estonians at the age of 38 when he dropped a goal against Malone. That was a long time ago. Anyway, whistle is gone. You'll have heard the whistle from very impressive young Georgian referee Nika Amashu Kelly. for collapsing the scrum. Johnny Sexton inside the Georgian half to take play as close to the Georgian goal line as possible, and that's not a bad kick, not as long as he may well have wished for. And the Georgians bringing on a couple of fairly hefty looking forward replacements as well.
Number 5, 6 and 10.
And they're bringing on also Tudor Baldor, who's a outside half or centre. And Vauvasa is going off, Rosu is going off, and Stefan Iancu is going off. I haven't seen too much of him, the fellow who's something in the region of 6 feet 11 inches tall, and if possible we find a rugby player bigger than Devin Toner. Line out to Ireland, the far side of the field, just inside the Romanian half. Kelleher throws, good take by Tadhg Beirne. On comes Kelleher. Kelleher puts the foot in the gas. Good work once again by Ireland, coming right off the back of that line out. Conor Murray whips it open. Well, nicely done by Ireland, taken on by Hugo Keenan, who gets absolutely clattered for his pains. Loughman drives forward and is picked up by two Romanians and knocked backwards by 5 or 6 metres. Conor Murray now to Sexton, moves it wide. Nice pass by Sexton. And here goes, looks like Mac Hansen is on. Murray has a wee dart himself and very close to the line. Ireland bring it back again once again. It's McCarthy driving forward. Here comes Bundyaki looking for another try. Pops it up this time to Van der Fleer, and he's taken down 5 metres away. All the pressure coming from Ireland, looking for try number 8. And Tadhg Beirne has it. Can he switch just direction, get the ball from one arm to the other? And Tom O'Toole's to standing waiting. Murray gets it away well. Sexton to Aki, pops it up nicely. Aki goes to ground. Murray brings it to the near side of the field, and Ireland drive forward. This is good work by the men in green. They're very nearly over. That should be a try, and Tom O'Toole is in there at the back of it. Can't quite get it. And here goes McCarthy. If anybody deserves a try, Joe McCarthy does. Ball back on the Irish side, and the drive over, and they get it again, and that's another well taken try. And it's Johnny Sexton. Well, he's back, and he's scored 2 tries, and he's been kicking points, and you couldn't wish for more than that.
Well, you could. Could he stay on for the last 18 minutes and get a hat-trick? That would certainly get the headlines tomorrow. Again, all the hard work done by the pack, sucking the Romanian backs in, sucking backs and forwards in, and in the end, a little bit like the try earlier on for Peter O'Mahony, relatively easy for Sexton to slip in just beside the post. Still, he took a good line, and Conor Murray read it well.
Well, you wondered who exactly was going to get the try. You knew the try was going to come. It was just a matter of whose paws got it and whose paws put it down.
I'm the captain. I'm getting a second. No. Well taken by Sexton.
So 8 tries so far, and a 7th conversion, and Ireland now up to 54 points to 8, and they're only 6 points away from their highest score ever. That was a 60-0 win at Lansdowne Road many years ago, when a certain Keith Derrick Crossan, known affectionately as the Gremlin, got a hat-trick.
Dude, what a winger he was in his day, I'll tell you. It looks like Ireland are going to beat that record today with over 16 minutes left in the game. Certainly time is on their side, and they're up for it.
Restart kick taken in by Bundyaki, who's been enjoying himself out there. Runs into a couple of Romanian tacklers who are still playing. Sexton gets it away, nicely done. Here come Ireland, looking for a bit of a gap on the far side. Now it's Josh Van der Fleer, runs like a centre 3/4, gets up to the 10-metre line. Tadhg Beirne back inside. Ireland playing exhibition rugby up to the 22, up to the 10-metre line, I should say. Here they go again. They just check a little bit as McCarthy goes to ground, sets it up. Conor Murray with room on the near side, his left. Spilled a little bit by Loughman, but he knocked it backward, and he's recovered. In goes Murray yet again. Tadhg Beirne, who can play just about anywhere in the back five. Back in field to McCarthy, who's been outstanding. Sexton, lovely and soft, lovely offload. Here comes Loughman, has to give it, he does give it. Oh, Nocky just couldn't quite pick up the pass from Hugo Keenan, or that would have been try number 9.
Yeah, they're playing some really, I don't want to say mesmerising rugby, but given the conditions and how warm it is out there, it's great to watch. And I have to say, I think Van der Fleer's made a huge difference. He almost lifts us up a gear with that injection of pace he gives between them.
My word, he's quick, isn't he?
Oh, he's he is a worthy World Player of the Year, and he's a lovely lad too, very modest, and he's absolutely vital to this side when they're at their best. That would have been another classic try.
10.
Some really good rugby been playing by this Irish side.
We look of exasperation on the homely features of Bundyaki, as if to say, why didn't I catch that? Well, he has done his bit for his country, as he always does, and the crowd in Bordeaux are giving Johnny Sexton the most wonderful of send-offs. They're standing to a man and woman and little boy and little girl and giving this most wonderful rugby player a farewell. Johnny Sexton leaves the field, having scored a couple of tries and kicked 7 conversions.
12, yeah, 12 white.
That's 24 points, not a bad return, and 65 minutes of top-class rugby, competitive rugby. Even more important from the management's point of view. It's a good day for Sexton and a good day so far for Ireland, and no injuries to report that we've seen.
Absolutely, and that's a rarity these days.
Is someone coming for number 12?
The referee's having a little word with his TMO, the New Zealander Brandon Pickerel. I'm not quite sure what about. Johnny Sexton holding a nice pack to his neck. I don't think there's anything wrong with his neck. He's just getting it cooled down. He's been doing his usual bit of chat with his players and the referee, but he's been quite restrained today in that respect. Tavita Manamua, the Romanian wing, seems to have come on. I wasn't aware that he was off. They've lost their centre, number 12, Jason Tomani. So maybe there's been a replacement there. Anyway, we have still about 14 and a half minutes to go. Ireland leading by 54 points to 8, heading for the biggest World Cup score. Good squeeze by the Ireland scrum. Romania under all sorts of pressure. Murray has come round and has really disrupted, and Ireland picked that one up. That's good work by Tom O'Toole, who's done well. O'Mahony is there too. Ian Henderson takes it forward, the big Ulsterman, the Ulster skipper, back on the Irish side. Frawley's back in there. Lovely flat pass to Bundyaki, who barrels over the 22, sets it up nicely back in the Ireland side. Frawley once again. I don't know why I'm calling him Frawley. It should be Crowley. Ireland bring it to the near side of the field. And they dig in Murray now again. Crowley, that's good stuff, and away come Ireland again. Lovely little transfer. Here goes McCarthy. Oh, he's got himself bundled into touch very close. He might just have transferred the ball to the other arm, but he was so very close, and I think he thought he was in for first international try, which would have been a hugely special moment for a very special player.
And I don't think anyone agreeing, certainly, or at this part of the world, would have denied him that. He's done really, really well today, young Joe McCarthy.
Bit of an injury to the Romanian skipper. Lovely transfer, lovely little show of the ball by Bundyaki, whose skills level, I have to say, has impressed me today, because in the past I always thought he was a bit bish bash bosh, but has had some lovely touches.
You and I have often spoken about that in Lansdowne Road in the Aviva, that we've been disappointed with Aki's distribution. And that has been his Achilles, so to speak. But certainly today, very, very impressive. McCarthy going ever so close. The other thing I'm surprised at, Jim, is, when the last replacements were made, James Ryan and Caelan Doris came off, with Peter O'Mahony moving into number 8. I don't know what the logic is behind that. I hope there's no problem with Jack Conan. Or are they just experimenting to have another one? But certainly O'Mahony has been playing at 8 since Doris went off.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him play there before.
Just get the gap right. Get the gap right. Yeah.
If you had to pick Peter O'Mahony at inside centre, under circumstances, you would.
True.
Ball comes back from the line out on the Irish side. Oh, he's going to get the try. It's McCarthy. Sidestep. Caught everybody napping, thought he was going to pass it. Ireland thought he was going to pass it. The Romanians certainly thought he was going to pass it. He had no notion of passing it, and he scampered in to take Ireland within 2 points of 60 points, which is the biggest number they've ever scored against him. It came knocked back on the Irish side. Conor Murray wriggled, and it got back, and he bounced off his pal Jeremy Loughlin and touched the ball down. It was a wonderful try by a wonderfully athletic big fella, and round he went, and that's another try for Ireland.
And a lovely step off his left foot too. The cherry on the icing on the top of the cake. And Jack Crowley now taking the conversion. His first kick of the game.
Good conversion by Crowley. Ireland just creep past 60 points. We have a fair old bit to go. And Ireland now leading by 61 points to 8. And it's been a walk in the park now for Ireland, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, it's gone generally the way we expected it to go. We knew there were going to be some frustration early on, some nerves. That's all normal. Nothing unusual about that. And they have been locked away, even allowing for the friendlies in a bubble. And that's what it is when you're going towards a World Cup. So, you know, overall, I think it's been an impressive, and I use that word advisedly, an impressive, lots of room for improvement, Ireland performance.
Restart kick into the welcoming arms of Bundyaki. Murray gets their way. Crowley. Here come Ireland again from deep low. Nicely done. Van der Fleer gets it away to Ringrose. Ringrose has got Hansen outside him. He steps back in, pops it up, and Crowley is outside half, gathers it in. Good work by Tom O'Toole, the replacement tight head prop. Murray takes it to the narrow side. Nicely done. Oh, wonderfully done by James Lowe. Gets it away. And now it's Hansen. What can he do? Little sidestep, comes back in field. Got support there from fellow replacement Crowley. Ringrose. Tyg Byrne. Wonderfully talented footballer. Murray on the narrow side. Crowley yet again. This is good stuff. Hansen almost breaks the first tackle. Sets the ball up. Murray brings it in field. McCarthy shows and goes and makes 2 or 3 precious meters. Now back on the Irish side. Ringrose moves it wide. Here comes Aki. Nicely done. Great chance this. Good covering tackle, but they've got it out to Kelleher, puts it back in field. Crowley brings it in field. This is exhilarating stuff by Ireland. Jeremy Loughman has done well. The replacement prop Murray sets it up nicely. O'Toole pops it back inside. Good support play by Ireland yet again. Murray moves it wide to the right hand side. Here come Ireland. This is lovely stuff by Ireland. Ringrose tries to hold off the replacement Taylor Guntiniak. Now they move it to the far side. There's plenty of room there, and he's in for a second. Peter O'Mahony. And that's try number 10 for Ireland, and this is going to shatter all records.
Yeah, and it's I mean, Ireland in total control now, and it's exhibition stuff. It's barbarian rugby. But that said, you've still got to do it. You've got to compete with the heat. You have to wear out the opposition, and Ireland have certainly done that. And some of the quality of the ball handling and interplay between backs and forwards has been outstanding. And we know that's the hallmark of this side when they're at their best. And right now, that's what we're seeing.
Well, I don't think we'll ever get close to the 100-odd points that New Zealand scored against Japan way back in 1995. On their way to the final, but Ireland are certainly putting it up to everybody now.
And for an opening day performance, it's doing exactly that, Jim. It's sending out a message, which all the other countries know anyway, but they're seeing it in the flesh. Ireland are serious contenders.
10 tries, 8 conversions so far. Crowley going for Irish conversion number 9 and 2 for himself on his World Cup debut. Struck it nicely. Oh, that's a lovely kick from a difficult angle, right-footed, very confident. You can tell by his poise and his bounce that he knew exactly, Tony, where that was going to go. That's a great strike. Love to see that.
That's a huge kick. That was a real pressure kick, given that he's coming on to replace the captain who's kicked 7 conversions out of 8. That's 2 out of 2 he's landed. I really like Crowley. I think that something about him, the words you use there, immediately you know he's on the field. And that's what you want, obviously, in what is still a pivotal position, no matter how much rugby changes the 10 shirt.
Well, that's a 60-point gap, which is the same as the record gap between the two sides all those years ago at Lansdowne Road in Dublin. Here comes Josh van der Fleer, who's run into a couple of Romanian defenders. Now Crowley moves it away nicely. This is good stuff from Ireland. Oh, that's lovely offloading, wonderful stuff. Here goes Hansen. He's got James Lowe outside, but Lowe gets away. He needs a little bit of help. He's got it now, pops it up nicely. Gathered on him. Jeremy Loughman takes it forward. Conor Murray's in there, moves it to the right-hand side. Oh, why did they kick that? It mightn't work out too badly. Oh, Tyg Byrne just couldn't gather it in, and he's gone down. I don't think he's hurt Referee is not letting the Romanians taking it quickly because they got themselves offside. And Ireland, I'm sure, will go into the corner, or maybe just a tap and go.
Yeah, that's one Crowley should not have kicked because they're just attacking in such a way. I think it was Crowley who put in the kick anyway.
It was.
Attempted to. But wrong call. Wrong club.
Slap in the wrist. Into the corner they go. We're about 7 minutes to go, and Ireland have started this 2023 Rugby World Cup in a bit of style. Not exactly right at the start of the game, but by the time the game went on, they've shown what they're made of. I'm not sure it's a World Cup winning performance, but then the opposition is not all that wonderful. Nevertheless, Ireland will be happy to have come through it, scored some good tries. Everybody seems to be fine. Tougher games to come, without a doubt, starting in a week's time with Tonga. Knocked back by Ian Henderson, couldn't quite grab it, but Ireland, I think, they haven't managed to keep the ball. That was a bad line-out loss. Just nudged forward, and the Romanians are trying to take it on. That's good work by Tom O'Toole, who's taken 2 Romanians backward with the ball. Now they may well have to kick it, as Simeonescu's gone into scrum half. And they do kick it right-footed to the far side of the field, and that's going to give Ireland the line out. Still 6 minutes remaining. 68 points to Ireland, 8 to Romania. Biggest total of the competition so far. I wonder, will that be surpassed?
I think there are, as you said, you alluded to it earlier, Jim, there are going to be a few one-sided games, particularly early on in the pools. We know that, and unfortunately, the quality of rugby world-wise, globally, is not at the same level, and that is a big problem. Hence, one-sided scorelines like this.
Ireland win the line out wonderfully by Henderson. Here comes Hansen, runs it through to Aki. Aki's going to get across. Aki again. Wonderful by Aki. What a game he's had. I'm not sure who's awarding it, but my man of the match will be Bundy Aki.
Me too. Himself and McCarthy, for me, have been the 2 outstanding players.
And the old fella at number 10 hasn't been bad either.
Oh no, Sexton has done well too, but for me, McCarthy and Aki has been the outstanding performer right from the word go. He's had a really, really good game in every respect of an inside centre. He's done all the nitty gritty, and yet he's been there to add on the finer points at the end. And that's a really well taken try. He's so physically strong. He's built like a brick house, and when you add that determination, pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah, just looking at that shot, his eyes totally focused on the white line, and a bit of high-fiving with his full-back Hugo Keenan. So that's try number 11 for Ireland, up to 73 points. Conversion to come is to make it 75, 3/4 of a century. Crowley, struck that one nicely yet again. So it is another conversion, and it's 2 more points. And Ireland leading very, very comfortably. Never thought you'd say, hear this, Ireland 75.
Oh, it's an amazing scoreline, and it's an announcement of intent that we know is there. You can say you don't want to shout it too loud, but we can see that there are areas in which Ireland have still to improve. I mean, there's no way that is a performance that's going to win a World Cup, but it's certainly taking us on to the Tonga game in pretty good nick in a week's time.
Restart kick taken one-handed, but then by Peter O'Mahony again. Tom O'Toole gets it away. That's good passing by Ringmoves out to Hansen. Back inside to a couple of fellow Irishmen. Conor Murray brings it in field. Good work by Ireland once again. Back inside to Hansen. Didn't quite work, but he's gone to ground. He's set it up for Ireland. Somebody needs to go into scrum half. I think it's McCarthy has gone into scrum half. Has a wee go himself on the open side. Oh, beautiful stuff by McCarthy. Gets it away to Jeremy Loughlin. Gets across the halfway line. Ireland on the front foot yet again. Picked up and driven by Romania. Boy coming back on the Romania side, but the referee has said it was off the ground. Good work by Ireland's defenders, and Ireland get the put into the scrum. 3.5 minutes to go.
I think what's really impressed me in the final quarter of this, or really about 30 minutes in the second half of this game, is the offloading in contact. Now, granted, there's an element of morale has gone out of the Romanian side at this point. They're well beaten, but the Irish support play at contact and the quality of the passing has been top-notch, and that's created so many of the tries. It's And I keep repeating, we're not losing the run of ourselves. We know that, but it's still been impressive. So credit where credit is due.
And played in such scorching heat.
Absolutely.
Set. Hold up, lads.
3 minutes remaining. Conor Murray pops the ball. No, it was a penalty against the Romanian front row. Come on, referee, be decent to them now. And Ireland get the penalty. And will they go for the scrum again, or will they go into touch? I suspect probably touch in either corner. And Jack Crowley is going to do just that. He's a very good kicker out of hand. And that is an amazing kick, Tony. Like, that's as good a kick as you're going to see in this competition.
But that's the nature of the guy. That's the confidence he has. And we've another good one too in Ross Byrne and how he performs for Leinster. I just think Crowley is the closest thing we have to Sexton in reserve. I can't put it any simpler or any better than that.
Well, obviously, looking past this particular competition, Ireland will have to worry about who the 10 is going to be. In the meantime, it doesn't matter. That was a poor throw. Went too far over the top. There was a great chance that has gone a begging there, and under circumstances, had this been a tight game, you'd have been saying all sorts of bad words about the thrower and the jumper and the lifter and everything else. But when you're 75 points, 8 up, it doesn't really matter. And Romania managed to drop the ball, and they've gone back to try to retrieve it, and they have retrieved it. And Ireland come barreling through and making life very difficult for the Oaks, as they're known, with their symbol is the oak leaf. Good work there by Ian Henderson, trying to hold the ball carrier off the ground. Didn't quite manage to do it, and Romania have to clear the line, and they haven't found their touch just to have on the far side of the field, and they've taken play to just outside the Romanian 10-metre line, other side of the field, the Ireland right, and it's going to be an Ireland throw. Is this going to be the last set piece of what has been an extraordinary game? It began almost mesmerically and unbelievably with a Romanian try, and Ireland settled themselves down and have come back, and since then have scored 11 tries themselves. Kelleher into a full Irish line-out, with Conor Murray standing at the front. Well taken by Henderson, who reached across and plucked it down. Van der Fleer sets it up. Murray does a wee jiggle and a wee juggle, and Ireland have come round again. Good pass by Murray, gets it away well now to James Lowe, comes back in field, needs a little bit of help. He's got it from Ringrose. Murray pops it up. This is good stuff by the Irish forward pack, and here goes McCarthy, who's been excellent, but he drops it. As soon as you give somebody praise, they go and let you down.
Can't call Ireland.
Referee telling Ireland to get back at the breakdown and back to Romania, and they can do nothing but kick, and that could go anywhere, and it has gone somewhere. A lot of people would love to see Romanians score a try, but it's been knocked forward, and it's going to be an Irish scrum with a few seconds to go, and the referee, will he blow the whistle and put the Romanians, not to be too harsh, out of their misery, or will they play on a little bit more? And he's going to play on a little bit more. He must be enjoying himself out there.
I know.
Despite the heat.
I think he should have blown the whistle, particularly given the conditions that we're watching on the pitch.
Stay up on the side. Don't go down.
Well, I'll tell you something. I know it's the middle of the start of a competition. If ever 30-odd players or more, 40-odd players deserve to be here tonight, it's this lot.
Yeah.
It's a full time. Full time.
And Andy Farrell has come down from where he's been watching, and has come down as going along as replacements and doing a little bit of high-fiving or low-fiving or hand-slapping and saying, basically, boys, well done, good job, more to come, without a doubt.
Right, coming on the bind.
Free kick against Romania coming in on the bind. Bundiaki looking for a hat-trick, gets himself tackled in the Romanian 10-metre line. Nicely done by Ireland. Stepping back infield is Hugo Keenan, gets up to the 22. James Lowe's in support. Murray brings it to the open side of the field. Crowley has to set it up again. Josh van der Fleer dumped in the seat of his pants by a terrific Romanian tackle. They're not giving this game up at all. They've not lain down at all. Crowley gets it away. Better stuff by Ireland. Long wide pass out to Mac Hansen. Now what can he do? He has a go himself. He's broken away, Hansen. That's wonderful straight running by the replacement wing. Ball coming back, and the referee said it was out, and away go Romania. Now this could be very interesting. I don't think they've got the legs. A little chip and chase, and Ireland come all the way back, and it's James Lowe, and Keelan gets himself caught, gets it back to Lowe. Now what's Lowe going to do? Ireland going to run it from here. Kelleher gets it away. Here goes Josh van der Fleer underneath his own post. They've come all the way from the far end of the field, and they're still running in. The man's still determined to move this. Now where are they going? Here's Hansen. It's like sevens. looking for a little bit of space, and he's found a little bit of space, and he's still going, Hansen. He's beaten about 5 Romanians, but he hasn't really made much headway in terms of going down the field. Jeremy Loughlin does his best too, and Tom O'Toole. Wonderful to see Ireland's 2 replacement props handling like centre 3/4 in the not too distant days. Little chip through into a bit of space. Here goes Aki. Aki's gathered it. Oh, great stuff by Bundy Aki. Certainly my man of the match. Here they come again, and it's Ringrose, who's had a quiet game, and he's got Tadhg with him, and he gives it to Tadhg, and Tadhg is getting in for try number 12 for Ireland, with 2.5 minutes of time added on played, and that is completes an extraordinary afternoon of point scoring for an Irish side who will be delighted with the outcome of this game, knowing full well there are tougher tasks ahead.
I must admit, I'm feeling a bit of goosebumps, and I'll tell you why. That's 2.5 minutes Ireland have played when they could have kicked the ball dead, but they're enjoying themselves so much in the heat of competitive battle that they've kept the ball alive, and they've finished with a Tadhg try under the post, running from virtually their own goal line. It's that's special, and this is a really, how will I put it, it's an encouraging performance as to where we go from here, and let's just leave it at that. What a win.
And Jack Crowley just straight in front of the Romanian post, swings the right foot, his easiest conversion so far. And the referee, who's had a very good game, Nika Amashu Kelly, blows the whistle, and Ireland have won this one in pretty impressive style, Tony.
My computer's now, what's the final score? 75-7, 82, is it?
Yep.
82-8. So Ireland were 5-0 down after 1 minute, and they have scored, how many points does that do the sums for me? 75, 82-3, is it, from then on?
Yep.
82-3. Wow. But there was so much to enjoy about the game. There's no injuries that we can see. The bench has been emptied. They've all got a run out. Sexton has fitted back in. McCarthy has had a tremendous debut, looked really impressive. Bundy Aki outstanding throughout. There's so many positives coming out of that game today that they will move on from here with great confidence towards the Tonga game. And we're not losing the run of ourselves at all. We know what's coming up. Tonga will be another step, and then South Africa and Scotland beyond that again. But as a starting point, wow.
And to be the number 1 side in the world, you've got to beat everybody in front of you, which they've done. And to do that, you need strength and depth in just about every position, and I think what was shown today, that Ireland have that
big time. And you can, is that 15 in a row now? 15 wins, I think. 14 in a row, which is phenomenal when you're going in.
I remember starting doing this job, and Ireland couldn't win one game in a row.
Absolutely. Or even scoring tries was so difficult.
Oh yeah, we had Six Nations finish 6-3 and 3-0.
Yeah, like it's like we're really going through a golden phase with this Irish team, and I keep making the point, and it's so important, and you alluded to it there at the end. I love Andy Farrell. I love the way he goes about his business, and you summed it up there when you said he's going along on the players saying, job well done, more to do, we take it on from here. That's what he was doing. You can see, you don't even have to go to his press conference now, you can see that's the way he was thinking. And I just think it's the positivity that he exudes as a former player himself in 2 coats, that is, we're reaping the benefits of as a rugby playing country, and most importantly this international squad that we have at this point in time at this World Cup. And certainly it's heightened enthusiasm going forward over the next number of weeks. Really exciting few weeks ahead.
I think I'm hearing in my ear from somewhere far away that Peter O'Mahony has been given the award as player or man of the match. That could have been up for 2 or 3 others, couldn't it?
I thought so. I thought Aki on the day was the best player out there. But look, O'Mahony did well. But, you know, that's a subjective call that somebody makes. And we all see games differently. But certainly I thought Aki and McCarthy were the 2 for me. O'Mahony did well, but he's one of so many. There were so many players who delivered the performance that Farrell demanded today. So at the end of the day, good day all round.
Thank you very much indeed, Tony Ward. Well, it didn't start too well for Ireland, going 5-0 down after just 2 minutes. But the boys settled themselves and got back into it and scored tries and tries and tries and tries and tries. No fewer than 12 of them, and all but one was converted. Final score then, and well in Ireland's favour. They put poor Romania to the sword. Final score on Bordeaux. Ireland, listen to this, 82, Romania 8.
Yeah, thank you very much to Jim Neely and to Tony Ward. Ireland certainly couldn't have done much better than that, could they? Well, look, stay with us, because coming up we'll have further analysis from Chris Henry. We'll bring you the latest from the Sports Direct Irish Premiership and Rory McIlroy's charge at the Irish Open. But for now, with the time at 28 minutes past 4, we'll pause for the BBC News.
BBC News NI on Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds.
I'm Naomi Holland. Good afternoon. More than 1,000 people have been killed in a powerful earthquake in Morocco. The epicentre was in a hard-to-reach area of the Atlas Mountains, around 45 miles from Marrakesh. There are reports of entire villages being flattened. Hundreds have been injured, and it's feared there are more casualties in remote areas which can't be accessed yet. Claire McCahey is originally from Bangor and now works as a doctor in Marrakesh. She described the moment the quake struck.
The whole house shaking very violently, things falling off shelves, pictures falling off walls. After 2 or 3 seconds, when your brain clicks in, you realise what's happening. I jump out of bed, grab the girls. Somewhere in your head, it sort of clicks in somewhere. You learn somewhere you've got to get downstairs and get in a doorway. So ran outside onto the street where all the neighbours were doing the same.
Daniel Khalif, the former soldier who escaped from Wandsworth Prison on Wednesday, has been captured after a 4-day manhunt. He was caught in Chiswick in West London this morning, around 4 miles from the prison. He'd worked in the kitchens and got away by strapping himself underneath a lorry. Khalif, who's 21, had been charged with terror offences and was awaiting trial. The police are searching for a man who escaped from custody in West Belfast this afternoon. He was arrested just after midday following a report of a burglary on the Falls Road, but absconded a short time later. He's described as being in his 20s with dark hair and was wearing black shorts, a black t-shirt and a pair of handcuffs. Detectives say anyone who sees the man should not approach him, but call 999 immediately. And the weather, cloud will build up this afternoon, bringing scattered showers. Some may be heavy with a chance of thunder, with highs today of around 23 degrees. BBC News.
From BBC Northern Ireland on iPlayer. Stephen Nolan looks at life on the inside.
Where I sit in the cells with some of the most hardened criminals in Northern Ireland. There's nothing sanitised about this. Raw testimony from inside a maximum security prison. All I can say is what I saw and experienced blew my mind.
Jailed inside Maghaberry Prison. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is Sports Sound. Listen live on digital, online or on BBC Sounds.
Well, you're very welcome back to us here on Sports Sound with myself, Orla Bannon, and former Ireland forward Chris Henry is here with me. Chris, you came into the studio about 2.5 hours ago, bouncing, saying Ireland are going to put on a show today. We're going to get at least 70 points. And they've done even better than that. They've got 12 tries and 80 points. Is that a big enough statement for you today?
Definitely. Look, I just think it's an absolutely awesome start. The feel-good factor around this team just continues to grow, and it's just an amazing amount of confidence that this team, that squad of players that all got a good time today, are going to have. It's just a really, really exciting start.
Yeah, and I suppose Johnny Sexton, we wondered how long he would get today. 6 months out, he slotted back in seamlessly, as he can often do, but that was fairly impressive by him in 65 minutes. Do you think that was just about the right amount of time?
Yeah, probably would have taken him off maybe a wee bit earlier, but listen, he'll still, his high standards, he won't be happy with parts of how the game actually flowed and maybe part of his decision making, but ultimately he was awesome today. And look, the exciting thing is that scoreline of 82-8, but that's Johnny just coming back from so long out. That's an Irish team that actually isn't our frontline team. There's still Dan Sheehan and Josh van der Flack came off for an unbelievable 25 minutes, but he looked like he was on fire. You think if he was back to starting, Peter Malley was out of position, you put him back to his best position. So the fact that it was such a convincing scoreline, and yet it isn't our best team yet. The bench so strong, but yet it's not our top line bench. It's not our. You would the two props would be third choices. We still have Finlay Beale and Dave Kilcoyne to sit on there. So that to me is showing even more exciting that there's definitely more to come from this team as well. And yet the scoreline is just so convincing. And any top test match, no team's just going to walk over. So the fact it did take them 60 minutes to really impose themselves, to really bring the quality and the finishing touches in such a heat and such pressure environment, I just think it's awesome. And yeah, let's just keep the ball rolling now.
And when they could have kicked the ball out dead, they played on for an extra over 2.5 minutes there at the end. I was screaming, kick it out, it's a very hot day, let's not get any injuries at this stage, let's not be silly. But you were going, no, let's try and keep on going and get another try. And you were proved right when Tag Byrne dotted down for try number 12 there. What does that tell you about it?
Well, it's the mentality of the team. Like the fact now that they've done that, okay, yes, against a very poor Romania side, but if you're able to score tries from your own track line, they've done it now in the World Cup, and they go completely the other. The fact that they went from one end to the other end, and then fatigued, exhausted, and you've still got someone like Matt Hansen with that mindset to run back from their own 5 metre. It's an incredible mentality. It is a team of winners. That's why they are the best team in the world, because they're going with this mindset. The power of the mental side of rugby, it's just so important. And I just think that statement at the end of the game to go to 83 minutes and to score, they could have easily kicked it out. They didn't. Big positives there. Jack Crowley coming on with that youthful enthusiasm and took the game really well too. So he got his chance. And then the other big talking point, the positive for me, is the big Joe McCarthy. He had got over the line maybe 3 times, held up, but he finally got his try too. So we've got so many small positive, good feel factor storylines about today. And then the fact that there's no injuries, no obvious injuries that we can see, and that's going to be really important as well.
Yeah, some of the younger players performed very well, some of the older players performed very well, and one of those, we'll put him in that category, shall we, is Peter O'Mahony, and he was named player of the match today.
It was difficult. I think credit to Romania. You saw the way they rocked up. First 2 or 3 minutes, they put us under the sticks, and it was a right wake-up call for us. Welcome to World Cup 23, you know what I mean? Every team is here to play their very best, and I thought Romania were absolutely that today. I think we put some phases together that we're happy with. We'll certainly go back and have a look at some of the stuff that we left out there. There was plenty of it, but it was a pleasure coming out here today. The fans here, off the wall stuff, and 80 points in our first one. We'll take that.
When you came off the pitch, you said, are you joking? How have I won it? It was an incredible effort from you. When you play in a team like this, how special is it?
It's very special. We all consider it an honour to wear an Irish jersey, to do it at a World Cup, different again. And to be honest, in this group, even more special, so I'm delighted to be here.